Hey guys. Hey guys, are you there? Hey, can you guys hear me now? Hey. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? All right, guys. Welcome to the Saturday Scoop. I was a little bit late because I was on somebody else's channel. It was so great to do a live with them, and I will make sure I give you guys the link to that live as soon as I have it. And I'm also going to have him on my channel as well. So, Saturday Scoop, brand new feature on my show, on my channel ever since last week. Let me see who we got here. Let me see if you guys got any questions out the gate. Let me see. What is up? I'm in Punta Cana now. How is Sosua? Andrew Rose. Sosua is great. And NFN Shaka, peace and blessings to you too, Roxanne Lawson. Hey Roxanne, how you doing? Roxanne. Dr. CHN, just saw that interview you did. Great job. Thank you so much. Apartment R, what's going on down there? Well, and we have Low Key D. Hey Low Key D. We also have Dashin. Eyes open. All right, apartment. All right, guys. I think I got all those messages there. Oh, wow. It's been a busy day. Did a lot of videos for my other channel, Sister Cerise. You guys make sure you check that out. So things seem to be all right here in Sosua. Everything seems to be rocking and rolling. There was one little shakeup with a prisoner dying in detention center here in the Dominican Republic, not in Sosua. But have you guys heard about that American citizen that died here and was a prisoner? It's a very sad situation. Todd Jones, what's up? How you doing? Minsen, hello. Are the chicas back? The chicas are not back. Tony Fox, saludos. Are you attending the march at 6? You know, um, I might, I might, I might, um, just might. I don't like to be around too much controversy, and I like to stay on the down low a lot. But I know it's probably an important march to attend. But I don't know. My cousin's in town, so I'm really focused on hanging out with him a little bit. Not using that as an excuse, but I might make my way over. So, and I don't know if the march is to promote the raids, or to not promote them. Um, mhm. But I might just go to get some footage. But yeah, did you guys hear about yeah, so the march, let me see, Todd Jones says the march is about what's been happening here, the raids. And that's where I get confused, because I'm like, is it a march to go against the raids, or is it a march to encourage the raids and encourage the change in Sosua? And I believe it's a march to encourage the change in Sosua. And either way, I think the change is coming no matter what. So the march is null and void. The changes are coming. The changes are here. They are definitely here. I know A few guys are messaging me and they're still coming. I have a lot of apartments that are rented out to a lot of people coming in August. August is a hot month for people coming. A lot of people are messaging me for apartments in August, which is very different because it's low season right now. And usually August is a low season month. And it's usually September, October, especially November to May, where apartments really pick up. But August is like I have like so many people messaging me an apartment. So that's encouraging because tourism is not slowing down, and these people who are messaging me are guys who are frequent flyers here and they love Sosua. So it's not discouraging tourism the way most people would assume, which is fantastic. I haven't, the streets are still bustling. The daytime beach is still bustling. There's still a lot of excitement happening. The restaurants are open and everything like that. So I guess we really have to look at it. The men are still coming and they're still stimulating the economy. They're still stimulating the restaurants. It's really the girls and the locals that are losing out on the money. And on the live that I just got off of, I was saying that obviously will increase a little bit of crime. But the fact that they went in and took out the entire police force of Sosua, the entire police force was taken out, and even the colonel has been taken out, and a brand new colonel has been put in. Like when they are putting in a brand new colonel, then you know that there were a lot of people getting paid off, allegedly. There were a lot of people that were involved from the very top down to the bottom. And I believe that's going to be safer for a lot of you guys coming in because chicas won't have that power any longer to pay off police officers. And, if they tell you one price, and you're with them in a hotel room or your Airbnb, they can't change that price because they feel they gave you more of a service than the price you agreed on. Or, they're not going to be able to pickpocket you as much, or, they're going to be really careful with these new police officers that have been brought in, plus 100 more police officers on top of that. So, and I mean, I don't know any of these police officers' faces. I don't recognize one police officer as I go down the streets. And, they're on their bikes, same as they were before on the motorbikes, and they're driving up and down the streets. I don't recognize one. And it could just be that the new ones are being introduced slowly and the other ones are just on a break. Maybe they'll bring in some of the other familiar ones once they realize who's corrupt and who's not corrupt. But right now, as it stands, yeah, there's a different vibe, but the vibe still feels good. I like, I don't think that the chicas being off the street is going to change Sosua as much as most people are thinking. Let me see what's going on here. I am confused. You are feeding back on my side. Is something wrong? Oh, wait. There's something. Let me see. What is the march about? Hold on, guys. You guys aren't hearing me really good? Tony Fox says, not true. There are a lot of us enjoy the Sioux. Yeah, there's a lot of people here right now. Let me see. Apartment R says they will eventually take bribes too. The game never changes. Money talks. Your voice is repeating itself. Let me see. I heard they're just on a pedal, but they're around. Okay, wait, guys, tell me who hears my voice coming back at them. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? I Andrew says my voice is repeating itself. Anybody else? Scott says recap. Scott says I can hear you. So, okay, guys, let me know if any of you guys hear me repeating myself too much. Okay, so a little bit of a recap. Everything's going good on the streets right now. The police station has been cleaned out. The kernel from the top to the bottom, totally cleaned out. Brand new police officers are here and 100 more. And they did that because they do not want any girls being able to pay off the police. And Jason says the girls go on dating apps and they come to your hotel. That's true. Please send address. You're wasting my time. Your voice is fine. Thank you, Solo Traveler. So yeah, I'm not promoting any of this. I'm just reporting what I hear. I hear that you just pretty much go on Bumble, Tinder, and a lot of guys are feeling like it's actually even better for them because they get here, they arrive, they go straight to their room, and a girl is arriving. I see a lot of girls on the back of motor conchos, more girls on the back of motor conchos than I used to. So they look like they're going places. So they're obviously going to different hotels and Airbnbs and stuff of that nature. So that's what's happening. It's just going all online. And it just really seems like nothing has changed. And again, all the businesses are open because Pedro Clasante is, I mean, they're going to make their money from travelers, from tourists. They're going to make their money. The guys are still coming. But right now is low season as well. So there is a dip in profits right now. There always is in this low season. But guys are still going to come here. Tourists are still going to come here. And I have been seeing more children, believe it or not. They want to make it more family friendly. I have been seeing more children. As a matter of fact, I did a video the other night going down Pedro Clasante. I put it up yesterday, and there's kids on that video. And not only that, I've had people contact me via Facebook, also via WhatsApp, and they are families and they live here, and they are telling me that they really enjoyed my video with Noche, and all of their kids are like, oh wow, she has a dog. And so that was very much of an eye opener for me as well. But many of those people also told me that they're not interested necessarily in going on Pedro Clasante at night with their children. So it's one of my favorite things to say, two-edged sword. So yeah, the police have completely changed. The girls are all on back of motorcycles now. One thing I really do see, which is interesting. So let's say there's two police officers. They generally travel two police officers on a motorcycle, right? And they move like sharks. Like they can jump off a motorcycle like nobody's business and get someone and grab them quick. They're very fast at doing that. I think it's part of their protocol, part of their training, I would say. Anyway, it's really interesting now to see these police officers travel, and right beside them will pull up, going to the same light, will pull up two girls on a motorcycle. And the girls don't even look at the police officers. And you can tell that they're working girls. You can tell that they're working girls. And they don't even look at the police officers. They just go, Not a side eye. They're not giving dirty looks or anything. You can tell that their hearts are probably beating out of their chests because of the trauma that is going on and the fear that has been instilled in these females. But they're not doing anything wrong. They're just on a motorcycle and they look like they're going somewhere. And the police can't do anything, but the police will go like this. And they'll like look at them, stare them down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very different. So I've been seeing a lot of that. Police officers looking at girls on bikes. And it's like, Their hands are tied. There's nothing they can do. The girls are not walking. The girls are literally on a motorcycle, and there's usually about two of the girls on a motorcycle with the driver, and then of course two police officers. So yeah, looks like the girls have taken more flight to the motorcycles and visiting people in their hotels as opposed to being on the streets. So, now if you have a girl and you have a date, she goes to your place and you guys agree upon hanging out or whatever, you're allowed to take her to Pedro Clisante for a bite to eat, for a few drinks, to hang out. Even if she is a well known working girl, nobody can say that you, as a tourist, can't go and hang out with her there. That's your own business. For all they know, you don't know she's a working girl. For all the authorities know, you don't know that what's going on. So yeah, you can still go out and enjoy life. It's just that the girls can't go on the strip at all. So they can't work on the strip. And a question somebody asked me in the live, a really good question somebody asked me on the live that I just got off of was, can a girl just go and have lunch, or like just go and have a bite to eat at one of the restaurants on Pedro Clisante alone? Like, can she do that without getting picked up? And the reason why I thought that question was very good was because my answer would be no. It wouldn't be a good idea for her to do that, because someone would look at her side-eyed, like, what are you doing here? Because of the pay that the average Dominican will get. So let's say the average Dominican gets $1 an hour, 400 pesos for the day, $8 for the day for an 8-hour shift, right? So let's say they get 400 pesos for the day. Most meals on Pedro Clisante start at like 300 pesos and up. So if a girl is on Pedro Clisante and she's in one of those restaurants, most times she wouldn't be in there eating alone. Most times she'd be in there eating with a friend or something of that nature if she is a working girl. So yeah, most working girls are not going to go on Pedro Clisante at all to have a meal. But again, if you have a girl and you have a date and you want to go on Pedro Clisante, you can do that. They're not going to come up beside you and grab her away from you, because that's not something that I'm hearing. And I don't think that's something that they would dare do. Like, that's just not even logical. I could never see that. So it's still pretty much cleared out. Let me see. Hey, Mike. Okay. You are so wonderful. Thank you, Scott. And AL Travel says, any Haitian women around at all anywhere? Some of them, but let me read some of these right here. The Haitian women totally spooked there. Yeah. Ruby, my mic is not good. Ruby says super rude, evil. Who's super rude and evil? Ruby. I mean, look at what are you going on here, Ruby? Send what address? You're wasting my time. Ruby. So, the Haitian girls. So the Haitian girls are more here in Charamicos, where they live. They, yeah, Ruby's trolling. I just blocked him. I don't even know who Ruby is. So, well, I don't know who a lot of you guys are, but still, no time for negativity on our feed, right, guys? We're getting down to business. Saturday scoop. But yeah, no, the Haitian women are usually here, centered in Charamicos. La Piedra. Many of them are in Maranata. Many of them are in La Union. Many of them are hiding out. This raid wasn't targeting Haitians, but some places did get raided. The raid was more targeting, they're saying, prostitutes. But yeah, so the Haitian women have been afraid for a very long time, and most of them, they go out when they have to. The Haitians help each other. They are a very cohesive kind of people. I've noticed they are very much like, and I don't want to sound stereotypical, but where I come from in Canada, we have a lot of Indian expats. I don't want to call them immigrants. I don't understand why people that come here to the Caribbean that are foreigners are called expats, but people who go to Canada are called immigrants and not expats. I've never understood that. Explain that to me. Anyway, I'm going to call them expats because I don't like to use the word immigrant. So there's a lot of a lot of Indian expats in Canada, and I find that they are very close knit people, and many people can stay in one apartment, and they work hard and they feed each other, and it's more about an autonomy. They're very autonomous. They stick to each other and they help each other grow. And I find that Haitians are very much like that as well. And I find that they are helping each other. They're not the type of culture that is like crabs in a bucket. They don't tear each other down. They literally build each other up. And I believe that's how they are surviving. And the women are a huge backbone usually. The women are usually a strong backbone. The children are being well taken care of. I do see a lot of the Haitians walking around Charamicos here very freely, but they do run when they like see a truck, like a pickup truck of like the police or something like that. But most of them, I don't know what they're doing for work. I know that a few of them have a couple of scams going on, which is going to be my story time, maybe this Thursday coming up or the following Thursday. But I'll give you guys a little spoiler alert. There's a Haitian woman here in Charamicos, and she very lovely girl. She has a couple of children, and she also has a husband that lives with her. And she has a handful of guys, French Canadian men, and she keeps telling them that, her brother's getting picked up and put in jail, and he's the one that's taking care of the kids while she goes out and gets money. I recently heard just the other day that she also is telling them that she got picked up and put in jail. And so she's taking advantage of the system as well. But it's probably the only way she knows how to make money right now. Just lie and say that she's going to get deported to Haiti. So she's like, some people are sending her like $600, $400, like $300, $700. So she's living on this, and she can't. How I heard this story is because she can't go out and get the money herself because she doesn't have a passport. She doesn't have documentation. She doesn't have legal identification. So she gets my neighbor to go for her, and my neighbor is a white man from Canada, and he caught on to that scam, and he doesn't want to have any part to do with it. So that's how I heard about it. And he actually told the guy. So that's one thing. But I mean, people are doing what they have to get, what they have to do to get some money and eat. And a lot of people are really scared right now, and they're worried. But yeah, I don't know what is going to happen with a lot of the Haitian ladies. I don't know. Even if they're born here, many Haitians are born here, and they just are not allowed to have their cedula, even if they're born here. So they're just considered Haitian, even if they've never been to Haiti. And so that's a little confusing, I think, for a lot of people. And it's terrifying because if they get picked up and they get deported, then they're being deported to a country where they don't even know. And I know one Haitian girl here, she doesn't even speak Creole. She doesn't speak Creole. She speaks Spanish, she speaks English, she speaks German. That's it. Her mom dated a German man, and she was raised in his household. And then he died, and the mom unalived herself because the mom couldn't take care of herself any longer. And so this girl was left alone, and she had to take care of her little brother, and she never did learn Creole. And her mom didn't teach her Creole because her mom didn't want her to communicate with other Haitians, because her mom didn't want her to identify as Haitian. So that's a tough story right there, you know. And I think about her a lot. When I see her, I always try to give her something, you know. Whenever I see her like walking down the street, she never asks for anything, and I have no idea how she supports herself. I just have no clue how she supports herself at all. Um, Let me see here. So the clubs can't have girls inside. That's a very good question, DJ Freak Lotto. Um, I wouldn't know how to answer that. Hmm. Um, Doricon says, "Hi, Cerise. I have friends in Charamicos, and I'm kind of concerned about them being displaced. Do you think the government could uh, do it in the near future?" Yes, yes, yes. So, um, I don't think that the government would really talk about doing raids on Haitians because it may come off a little inhumane. So I don't think that they would run like an Operation Atlantico on Haitians, on people. But the raids are being performed each and every day on Haitians, especially here in Charamicos, where your friends live. There's a place called La Piedra, and the police go down the main road of Jose y Junio Kuntart, and they go all the way along La Piedra. And sometimes when they go right back up the street, the the truck is has a few Haitians in it. Before, many years ago, like about 2 years ago, the trucks were filled with Haitians, like like about 10 Haitians in the back of the truck. But now I think they know to run, and they know how to hide, and they know where to hide now, I believe. So now they may have one or two, maybe even sometimes none. But there were some raids. They went and they raided a church, and they took out about maybe six, maybe 10 women, 10 Haitian women, and the kids out of a church. And I believe that was in La Union, just down the street from here. So the raid, it's not really raids per se, but it's just they're entering areas and businesses where they know that there are a large congregation of illegal or undocumented Haitians, and they're going in there and taking them out, and they're cleaning up those areas a little bit by little bit. And so, yes, they will be hitting each and every area for sure. I haven't heard this from any politicians. I have heard some information from some politicians. I really can't say names, but nothing, no information about Haitians. Um, and that this is, I'm just telling you what I've seen, what I've witnessed, and videos that have been sent to me on WhatsApp. Certain people will send a video of certain things that are happening, and I don't see any violence. I don't see anything like that, but it just kind of seems like now it's getting a little more strict because the children and the moms are being taken out as well. And they were put in the back on the back of those on the back of that pickup truck. Like usually, you know, the kids will maybe go to an orphanage or something of that nature, but the families were being put in that pick at that in the back of that pickup truck. So, and I know it's only happening to undocumented Haitians that don't have any documentation, and they have no proof of being allowed to enter the country, and that's more who it's happening to. Oh, wait. Most okay. Wait, Jimmy Davis. Thank you, Jimmy Davis. Paperwork. Most people are underage anyway. That clog up the playground and they create the problems. Okay, Lydia. Haitian girls are all over the DR having 6 to 10 children to each one. Yeah, abortion is illegal, and I don't, you know, it's really tough for those Haitian women. I often ask myself, why aren't the Haitian men pulling out? You know, like why do they have to finish inside? And I know this sounds so rude and so crude, but I'm like, there's one Haitian woman that is pregnant every single 9 months. Her boyfriend doesn't give her a rest and he doesn't work and she doesn't have any money. She doesn't like, you know, she's pregnant all the time. And I'm like, wow, that's got to be tough. And I'm like, just have your sex, but pull out a little bit, you know, like you don't have to finish inside constantly. Like, I guess it's like the luck of the draw, you know, oh, she didn't get pregnant last month. So, you know, I don't know, maybe it's sex education. Pull out, you know, like there's a lot of children and it's really, it's a lot on these women as well, I would think. I mean, obviously, it's a blessing to have children for a lot of people. Some people don't want children, but yeah, there are a lot of kids. And I believe it's the men. I believe it's the men. The men, you know, pull out. Haitian men, I love you. I love everyone. But yeah, I do notice that a lot. That you know, there are a lot of pregnancy here. And let me see. They need, oh my gosh, here we go. This ninja here says they need to handle that one-eyed Haitian lady that is harassing us at the beach. Oh my gosh, I have so many stories about her. Holy smoly macaroni. I can remember one day. So if you guys know who the one-eyed Haitian lady is, she lives here in Charamicos, just down the street from me. I haven't seen her for a while. She does a lot of hiding out as well too. She does have a little girl. Well, one time, she always she knows I live here in Charamicos, so she knows I'm for the people. But whenever I'm hanging around foreigners, she always comes up to them and she like puts her hand out and she goes right up into their face and she has only one eye, right? She has two eyes, but one of her eye it's just all a white ball. I think she's blind in that eye, right? God forgive me. Like God bless this woman. But she is very intense and she knows that she is like antagonizing a lot of the time and she forces people to take money out of their pocket, and when they don't she gets angry. And so one time I was sitting by myself and she came up to me and she's like, amiga, dame un cien, right? Give me 100 pesos. And I said to her, no, I'm not going to give you 100 pesos. That's $2 in Canadian money. Like, no. And I said, I'll give you 50 pesos or like 25 pesos. Like, come on now. And so she's like, and so I was like, all right, you know, and I reached in my pocket and, you know, this is my thing. If I reach in and if I have loose change and it does come up to 100 pesos, I'm going to give it. It's whatever God wants me to give at that moment. And sometimes I do have some good loose change, and sometimes I don't. I don't always take loose change out of my purses, and I change my purses a lot, right? So I'll reach in my purse. And so anyway, this day I reached in my purse and I literally only had 25 pesos in change. So I had 10 pesos, 5 pesos. And I gave it to her and she went like this. And she gave it back to me. And I was like, oh, really? And I took it. And she put it on the, like I was sitting outside and it was like a bar at Plan B, right? And so there's like a little railing and she put the money, she slapped it right back up on the railing. And I went, oh, really? So I just took that money and put it right back in my pocket. And that would be a tip to a waitress, never mind giving it away for free. And then she walked away and then she came back and she's like, okay, give me the money. And I'm like, I'm not giving it to you. And I'll never give you money again, ever. And she was like, you're a bitch. She walked away. And then the next time she see me, I was sitting with foreigners. And she came up and she's like, amiga. And I said, no, tu no mi amiga. You're not my friend, no. And she's like, oh, bitch. Again, she called me and she walked away. And she did this for about 4 times. And every time I said to her, no, I'm not your friend. Like, don't run game on me like that. And then one day she came up and she apologized. And she said, amiga, lo siento. I'm sorry. And I said, all right. So yeah, that's my little history with her. But she definitely does get on the nerves of a lot of tourists here when she goes up to them and tries to scare them with her one eye. All right. Because the Constitution does not grant. Okay, let me see. You know why I started getting anxious about it? It's when I saw them destroy the houses in Cerro Alto. Yeah, Cerro Alto. Yeah, they are definitely destroying a lot of places. And Doricon says, I know your friends. Oh, I know your friends. Okay. No, I have never been to Haiti. I was going to go 6 years ago, 7 years ago, but I didn't go. If I remember correctly, they built La Union to displace, a part of Sosua back in the day, and now seeing them destroy the houses in Cerro. Yeah, started to think they want to displace Charamicos up there. Oh, Charamicos up there? I don't know. I don't know if they can I don't know if they can do that to Charamicos because the people here in Charamicos own their properties. They're not renting, many of them. Okay, most of them are renting, but many of them they own the properties and they're fixing them up right now. I don't know. You could be right. This is untouched land right here. And we also have El Tablon at the bottom of Charamicos. It's a secluded beach. It's beautiful. It's pristine. And I'm going to go do a video there for an upcoming video that I'm going to be doing about the secluded beach in Sosua. And there are a lot of places here that can be demolished. Yeah, actually, you may have a point. I could see investors coming here and moving this way, especially after that plaza is built, and just demolishing that whole road right there, right here. Interesting. I think it would take at least 5 years. They could do that lickety split, actually. Very interesting. Very, very thought provoking. Now I'm going to be thinking about that every now and again. Passport Pookie. I heard Haitian box. Okay. Let me see. Oh, where's Mulano? Mulano. Don't talk about these braces, Mulano. Milano and I are going to do a live together. Did you get my message on WhatsApp, brother? Tuesday. Let's do a live on Tuesday together if you're available. Cab No Limit. I don't mess with her. Who is... You're talking about the one-eyed girl? You don't mess with her? Let's see. Valerie Vargas says maybe if they dressed less trashy, cops wouldn't be picking them up. Valerie Vargas, you have a very good point. 100%. Larry says, I see they are back out. The girls are starting to come back out. I'm going to go out tonight. I'm meeting my cousin. He's in town from Toronto. He owns a condo over in Puerto Chiquito. So I'm going to go hang out with him on Pedro Clasante, and I'm going to get a little bit more footage for you guys, like on a Saturday night. And I'll see what I can get. You guys know I don't like to do too much videoing of the streets, but it is what it is, and it is the time to do that. And Dora says, so why did they destroy the houses? They're destroying the houses because they want people gone. And it's the government's land. You grew up here in the 80s. Interesting. Real Sosua says, where is Mulano? Are you in Sosua? And Capital City NJ says, where's Finger Finger? I heard Finger got time in prison. I heard, I don't even want to say it because I don't know, and I don't like to talk about things I don't know. But I did see a video of him in prison. Someone sent me a video of him in prison. And the video I saw, he had an American with him helping him get out. So the last I heard is he's still in there. I don't know what he would be in there for. I really don't know him. And I really don't know. But I know that he's very well loved. And I know that he's very much missed. So I'm pretty sure he had to be very good to many of you guys because all of you guys ask about him. So I believe he's Haitian too, right? So it could be that he was deported. I don't know. But I did hear that I don't want to repeat the rumor that I heard because I don't want you guys to, anyone take it from here and say they heard it from me. I only like to talk facts. And Kenneth King says they are coming out on Facebook a lot. Yes, they are. And This Is Ninja says, I'm getting random texts from chicas asking for money. Times must be hard for them. It is. And a lot of them are coming out. Kenny, you're right. A lot of them are going on the Facebook dating sites. I have a group on Facebook called Everything North Coast Dominican Republic. And I believe we have about 7,000 members on there or something. It's not too much of a big group, but it is private. It's every Thursday real estate. And then there's a lot of restaurants that promote on there and a lot of, it's just more of what's going on around Cabarete, like the North Coast. Okay. And, I'm the only administrator for it because again, it's still a small group. It's only like 7,000 people. So I have people that put out posts, and the posts have to be pre-approved. And I have these ladies on there, and they are doing videos of themselves. They're walking down the street, and they're like, "Hello. My name is blah, blah, blah. I just want to tell you I'm here. My phone number is on the video." It's so funny. And I'm like, oh, these ladies, they're business women. They stand on business. You got to give them that. And yes, who was it? I think it was Valerie. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, Valerie. I agree with you 100%. The girls need to they need to fix themselves up a little bit. When I first got here 7 years ago, they used to wear really cute clothing, and they used to wear like really nice clothing. Sometimes they looked like they're going to the gym, but yoga gear, like it was like, okay, yeah, they look good. These days when I see them, they just look like they just woke up out of bed, and they're just throwing on the clothes that are like that just tights, only tights, which is fine. They have beautiful bodies. When I was that age too, I mean, I would wear all those clothes as well. Never mind, at this age I would wear tighter clothes as well if I wasn't trying to go through this weight loss challenge. But sometimes they look a little dingy. And sometimes they look like they're just literally not even caring. Like, I used to see a lot of them before carry purses, and like bigger purses. And one of the working girls told me that, she likes a nice size purse like this because she likes to carry extra panties and stuff like that. And so that gave me a little bit of insight into that world. And I was really shocked. I'm really shocked to see some of these girls. They don't even care about that these days. They, don't care about an extra set of panties or anything like that. So, I know that the changes seem a little, worrisome right now, but it really is going to get a lot better for the, the upkeep of the women. And you guys are going to get a lot more pickier as well, because when these women show up, they're not going to be walking along Pedro Clisante and having all these options. So I'm pretty sure the prices are going to go down. I'm pretty sure that their personality is going to go up, and they're going to treat you a little bit like the gentleman that you are, I guess, because some of the ladies have taken a lot of advantage of men. Let me see. Mariko says this is only bad for the guys that go in group. So, I don't know, guys. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I just don't think it's gonna be that bad. The guys that are gonna come in groups, they're just gonna take taxis together to somewhere. They're all gonna call their girls to come to them, to their villas. They're gonna arrive and they're just gonna tell all the girls to go to them. And yes, some of the businesses will eventually lose money if the guys stay at the villas, but the guys really do like the strip just anyway. You remember those number asking for a friend, the ninja here? You still remember those numbers asking for a friend? What number? Are you asking me, ninja? I'm lost. Dexter Harris. Hey, Cerise. Just wanted to say hello. I saw you one night in front of Jolly Rogers, kissed your hand. This was back in March. Keep up the great work. You are very informative. Thank you very much, Dexter. Oh, okay. Ninja says just joking. Or just kidding. Stack and Stat says a lot of changes coming to the Sioux, absolutely, and neighboring areas, absolutely. And yeah, real Sosua says good. Talk that talk TV. How does one get rich? Ooh, that's a good question. And real Sosua is get rid of the wigs, nails, and them lashes. Yeah, a lot of these ladies, like they're so beautiful, and they are wearing wigs, and they have beautiful hair under those wigs. And I think they look a lot. I think they look at a lot of American videos, right? Like Beyonce, for instance. Beyonce has a lot of nice, long, beautiful hair, but she wears all those wigs on stage because she's a performer. And not only that, she doesn't want her natural hair, to get ruined by having to put it in different styles. So that's how she's maintained that beautiful hair. But a lot of these ladies that I see on the street, when I see them in Charamicos, right? Their hair is like mine. Their hair is curly. They'll put it up like in a bun sometimes, and then they don't want to straighten their hair all the time, so they'll get a wig, and that's why they wear those wigs, because they don't want to keep burning their hair, and they like to look different many times as well, because some of them, they want to have a little bit of curly hair one day, straight hair another day, short hair another day, blonde hair one day, brown hair another day, black hair another day. They want to change it up, and but yeah, that's the wig situation. And those long nails, I don't know either. That's the style. Oh my gosh. I used to get my nails done back in the day. These are my own nails, but I used to get my nails designed back in the days and stuff of that nature. And now I just do my own nails. But a lot of those girls, I'm like, ugh, their nails are very long. They yeah, they can cut them down a little bit. I think just a lot of those Instagram girls can cut their nails down too. And the lashes are getting way out of control. They all, just in general, all over the United States and Canada, here, those lashes are starting to look like they got caterpillars on their eyelashes. I mean, they're beautiful women here and they don't need all that extra stuff. A lot of the women, they just are natural beautiful. Some of them, they're getting too many BBLs. They're getting a lot of BBLs, and it's not good. I think if they want to go, get a little bit of butt, if that's what they want, then sure. But too much is not good. A lot of the BBLs are stinking. They're getting rottening. I don't know if you guys know what's going on with BBLs right now. Some of them, they bust out when you get the BBL done too much. They bust out and they start to smell. So if you are with a woman and there's a certain smell, it could be that she sepsis inside of her butt. There's that going on. There's that. But yeah, the women are really beautiful. And I do believe that some of them can just go out with a little bit of lip gloss on and a little bit of lash extensions if they want. I mean, I don't know how they keep the lash extensions on, to be honest with you. I tried to get lash extensions here and the heat just melted them right off. I went like this and I was like, oh my gosh. So I give kudos to them. My gosh, they know how to get it done. And let me see. Jacques Bauer says too much influence. Sosua was better before pandemic. Yeah, I mean, that's such a loaded comment because it's such a loaded comment. Um, it's a really loaded comment because I just believe that it was one vlogger, two vloggers, and I don't like to place blame, but I'm on the live, so I believe it was the punks that came here, and then after that, that's when it started happening. Like for instance, Miko Worldwide in the streets, making a mom kiss her daughter, making the girl show her breast. He was doing all of this for views, and he wasn't realizing how it was making Sosua look. A lot of vloggers come here, and we talk about tourism, we talk about the beaches, we talk about the economy, we talk about a lot to help the economy here and to help the people here and to, help things grow. And then you have some vloggers that mimic what Miko Worldwide and Mayor did. And it really trashed things up before the pandemic. They were on Pedro Clasante, and then they all started to argue and fight, and then they just really brought some nastiness to a real good place. And of course, they were all dealt with. And where there is fire, it has to be put out, and they were taken out. And they were young. That's what I blame it on. They were young. They were like in their 20s, and they were coming here in their late 20s, I guess. And they were coming here and they found a playground where the big men were coming, men that actually had careers and men that were already gaining a pension, vets from around the world, especially America, that were coming here, early retirement, and they were just coming to sit back and have a real mature lifestyle. And then this started to happen. So, yeah, I do believe that some of the vlogging does have to do with it, but I don't believe that the vlogging is the reason for the change. I believe that the investors are the reason for the change. That's what I believe. I believe that the investors have come and they can see what potential this place has, you know? I see a lot of the prices go up in rent, and I see a lot of, I see a lot of, I see a lot of foreigners build places here, and they are the reason for a lot of the prices being raised. And just, you know, just speaking truth, the Dominicans, their prices are still all right, you know? And then when foreigners come and raise prices, and foreigners build apartment buildings, and foreigners are charging the same price for a condo that they would get in same price that they would get in like parts of America, of course Dominicans are going to mimic that. And Dominicans are going to be like, oh, you can make that much money in my country? I'm going to do the same thing. And this is what's happening. So it's the simple vloggers. Yeah, they made Pedro Clasante look bad at times, but not the whole Sosua and not the whole Puerto Plata. It has a lot more to do with investment, people with millions. And I would also have to say that, you know, you know, I don't want to be, I don't know if I should say this because it may be taken wrong. And I don't mean to say that, but, yeah. So investors, right? Okay. So before the pandemic, it was manageable here. After the pandemic, a lot of things changed. But when things really started to change was, it's twofold. It's twofold. I'm going to get political, and some of you may disagree with me. And let's make this a platform where we can agree to disagree, but not judge and hate, because I'm not on any side of the fence. I'm just an observer. The Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and it's in the United States' best interest to go into Russia. Russia's huge. Russia controls 70% of the oil in the East. They give a lot of oil to Germany, crude oil, everything. It's a beautiful country. Russia is a beautiful country filled with billionaires and oligarchs. They were banned once Putin said, no, you can't come into the country. Putin went in and started to bomb Ukraine. And we all know that President Zelensky is just a coke addict, right? And Zelensky he's an actor, right? He used to be an actor. He used to be on TV. It's all about him. It's not about his country. He did not need to become a part of NATO. That Ukraine was a very beautiful country. It could have just chilled. They didn't need to become a part of NATO. But when they become a part of NATO, then that means the Americans are bordering Russia, and that made Putin afraid. Putin's like, no, this is too close for comfort. Sorry, dude, you are not bringing the enemy to my back door. So boom, and not that America is enemy. So this is what I'm saying. Some of you guys might not like what I'm saying. I'm not calling Americans enemies. You guys know I love Americans. All I'm saying is that it is an empire, and empires are known to spread their resources, right? They need oil. Oil makes the world go round, right? So Putin was like, I'm not having it. I'm not dealing with it. And when the war came, a lot of the oligarchs came here. We have a huge Russian community here, huge Russian community here. Sosua Ocean Village, and a huge Russian community. And they're quiet. They're very wealthy. They stick to themselves, and they are investors, and they are investing here. And it is not because of the vloggers. It's not because of the pandemic. It is literally because of having to go somewhere else and put their money somewhere else. When I do my advertising on Facebook, right, I can't even advertise to Russia. It's not allowed. It's like it's blocked. In my advertising, when I want to boost a post and promote a post, I get to pick all these different countries on Facebook. If I pick Russia, the post is not approved. Like, you can pick Russia, but it will tell you that the post is not going to be approved. And this is a problem. Like, Russia should not be boycotted. The world needs to come together as one. So Russians and very wealthy oligarchs, they couldn't keep their money in the United States because the United States was going after all of those oligarchs. The United States was like, oh, you got money here? We're closing down your bank accounts. We're taking your money. We're going to make the people of Russia suffer for what the president is doing. And the president of Russia was saying, you're not getting close to my border because you're trying to get in to get all of our resources. And Russia is very wealthy in resources, a very beautiful country and a very big country. So, people thought, oh, the war was going to be over after a few months. The war was going to be over after a year. Well, look, the war has been going on for 3 years? Going on 4 years now, is it? Maybe? And Trump is trying to stop the war, but now look what Trump is caught up in. This Epstein thing. Like, this is ridiculous. Stop the wars. Stop the wars. Help the people. Focus on the people. Why is everyone focused on this Epstein thing? Is there going to be another war that's going to break out? And they're just trying to keep people focused on this Jeffrey Epstein thing? People get too sidetracked. There is still a war going on with Russia, and Russia all of a sudden is quiet. Russia's not saying anything. And Russia is working now with North Korea. North Korea just sent in a whole bunch of troops. So you don't know what they're doing. And Trump is all caught up with this Epstein thing, and obviously Putin feels like he was this close to sealing the deal with the United States and bringing an end to everything. But Zelensky had to keep running his mouth off. Nothing should be done with Zelensky. Nothing should be done with an out-of-control coke addict. Everyone knows this man just is out of control. And I'm sorry to the Ukrainian people, but I think the Ukrainian people also know that he made some silly decisions. Their whole country is gone almost. Their whole country is almost demolished, and it was such a beautiful country, a lot of history. So, obviously the Ukrainian people are also somewhat Russian. They also, they don't consider themselves Russian, but they also are somewhat Russian as well. Even though America and Canada, we share a border, but we have a lot of Americans in Canada and a lot of Canadians in America and the United States, So yes, they are our brothers and our sisters and stuff of that nature. Anyway, I don't believe that it was the vloggers. That's just a really tip of whatever that's just like a little piece of pinch of salt. That's it. It is investors. People have to put their money somewhere, and they can't. The oligarchs could not put their money in the United States. The United States was crashing everything down. And so, of course, they come to places like this, and we have a beautiful, large Russian community here, and they are buying up a lot of property, and a lot of things are being changed. And they're being very patient when it comes to Playa Sosua. And we also have a huge Chinese community here. And also, they are also very much in the crevices as well. They don't go on Pedro Clisante unless they are working. But every single main store on Pedro Clisante, within just a block, you have four major tiendas, and those are big Chinese stores, and they do a lot of importing from China. So we have real investors here. We have billionaires here investing. It's just not people coming and buying condos. It's people coming and buying literal towns. And this is changing a lot of the face of Sosua because big money is speaking. Huge money is speaking. And someone commented on my video that I put out yesterday about Pedro Clisante. And they said that their vibe is that what they're trying to do is stop business on Pedro Clisante purposely, so they can tear down all of those places and build new places like big, large hotels and big, large restaurant chains and stuff like that. And this makes sense to me. That makes a heck of a lot more sense to me. When people start talking that way, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that sounds like a plan. Not that I agree with that plan, because I really do love going to the little mom and pop shops. It's one of the reasons why I even moved here to Sosua. The back way of life, the laid back lifestyle. I love that. But when someone said that, I read that and I'm like, yeah, that sounds logical, because Pedro Clisante is the one street that goes right down to the beach, like a nice curve. They just break all that down. They have a bigger road. They have a bigger road. Right now, we have a bottleneck road. Imagine once those 3 7-story buildings are put up, how many more people are going to be on Route 5? Where's the traffic going to go? Right now, at like, what, 5 o'clock, it's a bottleneck. It's just, they did have a light there at one time, and they took that light down. People were complaining about it. Mr. T, the vlogger, the educated traveler, he really advocated to get that light down, take it right down. And, so there's a lot going on right now. And it really has to do all with investors. So, yes, the vloggers did bring a lot of attention to Sosua, but that was only Pedro Clisante. They didn't even leave Pedro Clisante, most of those vloggers. They didn't even go to like Puerto Plata half the time, or Los Cerros, or La Union, or even Cabarete half the time. But there's going to be a lot more. They're going to have to make a bigger road. Where are they going to get the room for the bigger road? I don't know. But if they take out half of that Pedro Clisante and they just put buildings, there's going to be room for a road. For 4 lanes. Like, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of changes. Things won't even be recognizable here, and that's what my vibe is. And let me see. Where's Mulano? Your voice is great for a podcast. Thank you. Where's Mulano? Ninja says, one big issue is the accessibility to the island. It's super close for the goofy weekend warriors to get to. Don't see the behavior in Brazil. Okay, I've never been to Brazil. Mulano, real Sosua, my rubles go far in Sosua. Yeah, your money goes far here. The streets are not good. Educated traveler showed us the reality. Yes, he's my brother from another mother. Who's going to do all this work? Real Sosua, who's going to do all the work? Well, this is the thing. They're obviously going to bring people in. The Haitians are getting kicked out, so they're going to just be doing slowly. I wonder who's going to put up those 3 7-story condos on the beach. Before the Haitians were here doing all the building, what happened was, one time I sat down with a Dominican guy, and he was a little bit of an older man, and he was asking me for a couple of bucks for a meal. And we were just talking back and forth, and he spoke very good English. And I asked him where he learned English, and he said he used to work on a construction site. And I was like, oh, really? I usually just see Haitians on the construction sites. And he said, oh, no, no, no. Many years ago, it was all Dominicans on the construction sites. But what happened was foreigners started to come in and build, and foreigners didn't want to pay Dominicans the prices. So Haitians were willing to do the same work at a fraction of the cost. So they started to hire a lot of the Haitians, and the Haitians took those menial jobs. And so that's what happened. And now that a lot of the Haitians are getting deported, a lot of the construction is at a halt. And so I'm like, well, who's going to do this construction? Especially the construction here. Now, a lot of the Haitians are working on the plazas. Like, it's only Haitians working on the plazas over here. I guess they have work permits. I don't know. I guess, but they're working on a government site. It is a government site, that plaza. So it could be that they have work permits and, but I don't know what they're going to do with these 3 stories, these 3 buildings, 7 stories. But they will be willing, their investors will be willing to pay people to get those buildings done. And yeah, there's going to be a lot happening. Let me see. Kenneth says, is the cost of living in Colombia similar to the Dominican Republic? That's a very good question. I hear people love Colombia. I have a lot of viewers who love Colombia, but I have a lot of friends that moved to Colombia and are trying to get back here. I have one guy who messages me constantly, and he's like, Cerise, I'm trying to get back. He's been trying to get back here for about 3 years now, but he says that the prices have gone up too much in Sosua. He's like, oh my gosh, the prices have gone up. So he's been waiting for a good rental unit that something similar to what he had before he went to Colombia. And now he's hoping with all these changes, the prices will go down in rent. But I don't think the prices are going to go down in rent. I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of people said that it would happen. It did during the pandemic. Prices went right down during the pandemic. And I was like, getting people places left and right that didn't leave the island. And the prices went right down during the pandemic. But this is not pandemic kind of terms. It's not the whole country. It's only one area. So I do believe, and a lot of people are now going also to Thailand. Now, if you were to compare Thailand to Sosua, I heard Thailand is so beautiful. I heard Thailand is so reasonable. And I know a lot of people that moved to Thailand, and they are loving it. Arthur, real Sosua. This is pandemic times 2 for Sosua. Yeah, this is the thing. In the pandemic, it was pretty all right. I really thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get cracking, and I did a few times. I cooked for people thinking that I was going to have people come pass by my place, and I went and I also got takeout containers and I cooked. I love cooking, right? And I don't have anyone to cook here for my dog. My cat, they love my cooking. My cat and my dog will not eat chicken unless it is seasoned. That's the truth. They love my cooking. And, so when the pandemic came, I was thinking I'm going to be cooking for some people, and no, they really made it work. They made it work. The whole entire country, man. They made it work. And of course, a lot of people in Sosua, I fell in love with the country 50 times over because of the pandemic and the way the people made it work. I saw people hustling masks on the street made out of bikinis. People made full business out of making masks. Just standing on the corner by the Playero. Mascarilla, mascarilla. They were selling them for, I was buying some fancy mask, and I didn't even like masks. I didn't get the injection. I was getting my motor control to go to the Western Union for me when you guys were paying for your rent to hold on to your apartments. Well, the airports were closed down, and but I was still buying some of those masks because they were fancy. I bought one that was all, and I know I shouldn't brag because it was a ridiculous thing to make people wear masks, to think that that was going to be something that was going to give us herd immunity. That was so silly, but we had to wear masks to go shopping here as well. And so this one woman was selling masks, and it was like silk, and she was putting little like bedazzled masks. Oh yeah, they were making huge business out of masks, and it was great. I mean, even the country said that if you get caught and you can't make it home by curfew, you just hail down the police, and the police will drive you home. And that did happen to me one day. I was on a motorbike. I was visiting in Cabarete, and I was on my friend had a motorbike, and he got a flat tire. And it was just before 7 o'clock. The curfew was 7 o'clock, and it was just before 7 o'clock, like 10 to 7. And it only would take about 10 more minutes to get home. And I was like, ooh, like there's nothing open. Everything was closed. So I saw the police coming down, and I waved them over, and I was like, guys, look at his tire. And the police got out of the truck, and all the guys picked up the motorcycle, put it into the back of the truck, and my buddy sat in the back with his bike, and I sat in the back and the police sat in the front. They drove me straight to my apartment in Charamicos. I lived over at the other end of Charamicos at the time, and they drove me straight to my apartment, and they weren't allowed to take money. And I tried to give them 500 pesos, which is like $10, right? And I tried to give them 500 pesos, and they said, no, we can't. And I'm like, why? It's just a little tip. You're doing something very nice. And they said, no, we can't. It's not, it's illegal. And I was like, but you guys take tips all the time before the pandemic. Like, you could buy a cup of beer on the street, a police officer a beer while he's on duty, and give him money. And they said, but this is a different service. This is curfew. So I said, all right. I said, oh, and I threw the money over the top, and it landed onto their seat. And I said, sorry. And I jumped out. So it didn't go in their hand, but they still got the money. So yeah, during the pandemic, it was fine here. There were some people that were hungry. Tailor Made Dreams came to my neighborhood. Tailor Made Dreams was giving out food. He was doing very well. People were sending him money, and he was giving back. If you guys remember Tailor Made Dreams, Russell, he was really hustling. Like, he was giving out food to people and everything. So there were a lot of foreigners as well. A lot of the ladies, it was non-existent because there were no people coming in through the airport. So even forget Bumble, forget Tinder. That was just not even happening because there were no clients. And a lot of the men were sending money to the ladies, but they were just sharing. A lot of people were eating the fruits like mangoes and avocados and rice, and yeah, it was all right here during the pandemic. People were still going to restaurants here in Charamicos, and still going to restaurants and everything, like buying from each other. So I think Sosua is going to be all right. I think Sosua is going to do just fine. Eventually, because you guys aren't going to stop coming. You guys love Pedro Clasanta. You guys love Sosua. A lot of you guys will just come. The women will meet you at your hotel, your villa, Airbnb. You'll have your fun. You'll do your thing. The guys will all meet up on the strip. You guys will go to, take your dates to the casino. Like, no one's going to really stop anyone from doing anything. It's just the women walking along the street and the investors that want that street and want this whole entire area. So that's why I do believe what Dickerin said earlier about Charamicos even being displaced, because this is untouched ground. And I look out and I can see the water, like the opposite view from what the beach can see. I can see the water here in Charamicos, and a lot of apartments along my street are, like places that are broken down, and they can see the water as well. A pure view of the water. I would say even just a beautiful view of the water, of the whole entire nightlife of Sosua. And so I believe that Charamicos is going to be another target, and that's going to happen, obviously. So, yeah, but I don't believe that this is going to affect people as much as we think it will. Sasquatch. I heard about the woman that died in prison. They denied her of her inhaler for 2 months. You know, that's a very interesting story, Sasquatch. So she was intersex. She, what we used to call back in the day, hermaphrodite. So she was a woman and a man. She was born both sexes. She wasn't a transgender. And she came here to the Dominican Republic. When she got here at the airport, they got her photo. When you arrive at the airport, they take your photo. It's called biometrics. And so she got here, she got into the country, and then she became disoriented. She became out of touch with reality. She became homeless, and that's a very rare thing for foreigners here. It's usually, you don't really see a lot of homeless foreigners here. When foreigners start losing their mind or losing their money, they usually go to the embassy and they're out of here. So what happened was she had a dual identity. She identified with Ellen, the name Ellen, but also another name, Esri. And so she had two different, she was telling them that she was intersex. This is not something they were familiar with, and they couldn't understand who she was. And she already was having her psychotic episodes. So they brought in some psychological doctors. They brought in interpreters. They brought in a lot for her. They didn't know what was happening with her. And they were very confused. And they did their best to help her, but they couldn't identify her until they identified her with the biometrics. Now, they found out her biometrics from the airport. I couldn't imagine how long that would take Canada to do that. As many people that take flights around the Dominican Republic, they have to contact and go into the system and take a photo of her and wait for it to come up in the system, like the computer system. So finally they found out who she was. And by that point, she died. Now, it's still very obscure, the whole information, because they arrested her. And she said she was taken advantage of. When they arrested her, they said she was out of touch with reality. And they said that, she just was out of touch with reality. And they said that she was having psychotic episodes. It's a tough call when someone is having psychotic episodes. Sometimes they refuse all care. Sometimes they refuse food. Sometimes they refuse medicine. Sometimes they don't know what's best for them even. It could be that they didn't even know she needed a puffer. Was she in her state of mind where she could tell them what she needed? And what was the reason for her to have that episode? She said that she was assaulted what was this assault? And it wasn't in the prison. It was when she was homeless in the streets. She was assaulted, and she was telling them, and they were trying to get to the bottom of that as well. So there was a lot to unpack there. A homeless person, someone that's out of touch with reality, and also her intersex, also saying that she was taken advantage of. There was a lot that they were trying to unpack, and then they don't even know who she is. So, in a developing country, we have to look at all of that, and then also look at the fact that, yeah, jails here are not made like hotels. Jails here, she was in a detention center, and detention centers are definitely made for criminals. And they had her in with men. They had her in with the men. They didn't look at her as a female. They didn't look at her as a female. She wasn't in jail with the females. She was in jail with the men. And she was going by two names. She identified as a man, and she identified as a woman. She identified as Esri, a man, and she identified as Ellen, as a woman. Of course, this is the thing. Back in the day, many, many years ago, when someone was born with two sexes, like intersex, they were called hermaphrodite. Back in my day, when someone was born as a hermaphrodite, and it's more common than people realize, 1 in every 2,000 people. And so what happens is, back in the day, they would ask the parents, what do you want your baby to be? A boy or a girl? Do you want to take the vagina, is the vagina? Do you want to take the clitoris that looks like a penis and make it shorter, and then you'll have a girl? And then also the opposite. There's two little lips around this penis. Do you want a boy? And we just have this as a boy. You give the kid some hormones and whatever. And they realized later on that you don't do that to a child. You let the child grow, because different things start to happen. Like, for instance, let's say someone chose that they wanted their child to be a boy, and all of a sudden, when puberty comes, that child hits 11 and they start developing breasts, and they start desiring men. And here they are, considered a little boy. And they took hormones to be a boy, but biologics, they feel like a female. So they stopped doing those operations to children. They stopped calling them hermaphrodites, and they started to call them intersex. And so it's not very common in our society. We don't talk about it a lot. And so I do believe that is those people are getting lost in the crevices of society. If 1 in every 2,000 children are born that way, that's often. That is often. And we don't talk about that. They'll talk about transgenders. They'll talk about gay rights. They'll talk about women rights. But men often are not. What rights do men have? Men are usually just cast aside like nothing. Oh, he's just a man. He's just a dog. The men are awful. And you can't say that about a whole entire species. Men are not awful. They have emotions, the same feelings and emotions that women have. And not only that, if someone is born with two sexes, we need to be talking about that in society a lot more than what we are. And so the Dominicans didn't know what to do with her. They looked at her as a man. Maybe she didn't shave. I don't even know. Maybe she did grow a beard. We don't know this. But she had long hair. She had long brown hair. And there are videos of her in the cell. And she's in the cell with like a whole bunch of Haitians, right? On the floor. They had her on a bed. They were on the ground. All the guys were on the ground. If you see some of the videos, and you see her on, like, not a bed, but like on like a makeshift mattress. But they don't give these people in jail, mattresses and blankets, and sometimes they don't even give them food. And that's just what jail is made for here for criminals. Criminals don't get what they get in Canada. Canada people get 3 square meals a day. I was just doing a video on Diddy on my other channel, which I'll be bringing that video out next week, about what his daily routine is in prison. And his daily routine is he wakes up in the morning, 6 o'clock. They do roll call, around 7, he has his breakfast. Then he does classes until lunch, where they do another roll call. After lunch, he goes and he does more therapy because he's getting anger management therapy, and he's also getting rehab off of substances therapy. And then, and then after that, after he does school, he has his dinner, and then it's lockdown at 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock, lockdown times, and he goes to sleep. This is like a hotel for them in the United States, But here in the Dominican Republic, they're not doing that. They are not doing that. So they didn't have the proper facilities to put her up anywhere. They didn't know who she was. They didn't know what sex she was. They didn't know what was going on. If they put her in with the women, and she must have looked more like a man to them for them to put her in with the men. And so if they put her in with the women, she's a man. If they put her in with the men, she's a woman. It's a very difficult situation. So maybe it could be that they just looked at her as a man because of her first identification when she was coming into the country. I don't know. But yeah, she identified as both Esri and Ellen. But now on the internet, she's being named Ellen Francis, 24-year-old. And she died of organ failure and heart failure. Her organs shut down. So that is even more severe than respiratory. I heard that someone said it was respiratory, but it's not. It's organ failure. And that, if you guys can look it up on ChatGPT and everything. So pretty serious. And someone says Diddy's treated like a king. The thing is about Diddy, he's actually standing on business in jail. He's taken full advantage of the classes. He's taken full advantage of the rehabilitation. He's also trading max, max like mackerel. Back in the day in prisons, when you get your cantina, they call it cantina in Canada. Commissary, I think they call it in the United States. So you could trade, like even people, like they used to trade with cigarettes, even people that were non-smokers, when let's say they wanted some good toothpaste, they would trade a cigarette for toothpaste, or they wanted a tattoo, 3 cigarettes for a nice tattoo, or a couple of pack of cigarettes for something else, or stuff of that nature. So Diddy is now trading mackerel, cans of mackerel are what people trade. And I don't know why it's cans of mackerel. I guess mackerel is $1, but they'll trade it for like ramen noodles. They'll trade it for, like, if Diddy wants his laundry, he can just give someone a few cans of mackerel. And if he wants to get a spread, you can get a prison meal, and they can make you a nice prison meal, and you just pay for that. So Diddy's probably making his own ramen noodles and his own rice in his jail cell, but he's doing his own thing. Yeah, I don't think he's being treated like a king, but I do believe that he's getting a little bit of favor because he can buy more with his money. But remember, there's always a limit. Everyone can only buy a limit each week of what they need from the cantina. So yeah, that's what they do in the federal prison in the New York and just around the United States right now. Mackerel, cans of mackerel are their form of currency. And I find that quite interesting. But that's on my sister Cerise channel, which I'll be putting out next week. And yeah, guys, so I think, just when it comes, just to wrap up, when it comes to Sosua, when it comes to what's going on, I don't think it's going to get so bad. I think that we are getting over the hump of it. I don't think the investors are going to allow this town to go down. I think it is playing out right in the cards that they want it to happen. They want this whole entire town. This is a whole entire beach town. This is a whole entire area filled with a beautiful coastline going all around right here at the bottom of Charamicos, going all the way down Charamicos, and then it comes out here, and then it goes right into Sosua Bay, and then it goes all the way around there by Casa Marina, Infinity Blue, and then it continues to go straight to Cabarete. That's it. It's a beautiful coastline, and that's what's happening. And so they don't even care if the businesses make money or not. They don't care if the women don't have jobs or not. It's not about that for them. It's just about, securing this land and getting rid of all the existing businesses that are here, the little mom and pop shops and everything. I don't think the Chinese stores will be taken out, but or the Texaco, but I do believe that there will be a lot of restaurants on Pedro Clisante that will be taken down. Some of them don't even have proper working bathrooms. On Pedro Clisante, some of them don't. Some of the toilets don't flush. It's old as well. And they know that they can get rid of a lot of those places just by starving them out. And so I don't think the ladies are the target. I think they just want to restructure this area and have people come back. They know people will always come back. I don't think it has anything to do with the Passport Brothers either. I don't think it has anything to do with the Germans. I don't think it has anything to do with the French Canadians. I don't think it has anything to do with the underage, because not a lot of people here are going for the underage girls. It's not something that I see often, and it's not something I've heard about often. Years ago, there were rumors of it, and I was really surprised then, but it just all of a sudden went up in smoke. Didn't hear anything more about it. I don't know about a lot of brothels here. Guys just come, like we already said earlier on this feed, guys don't even want to go to the brothels here. Guys come here and they rather hang out on Pedro Clisante, and they rather be there on Pedro Clisante, and that's where they prefer. So none of it makes sense. None of it. Unless you start looking at business. It has nothing to do with the Passport Brothers. So I've been hearing so many racist comments, so many prejudiced comments, so much. And, I'm mixed with black. And I think some people forget that, or they think that it's okay, and I'm not saying all Passport Brothers are black, because they're not. But it's not okay to say those things. It's really not. It's not cool. It's not nice, because it is the Passport Brothers that have brought money here. And although they're open with their intimacy and their desire for their own people, they're coming here to get black women. Don't lose sight of it. Those of you saying, oh, the Passport Brothers are coming here for black women. They are their women. They are the Dominicans are Spanish and black, naturally Taino, black natives. This is a Caribbean island. If anyone can come here for the girls, they're coming here for what they feel like they are coming here for. Like their own people, What makes that so wrong? Most of the Passport Brothers, yeah, they could be foundational Americans, absolutely. But a lot of them also have family from Jamaica. A lot of them do have family from the Caribbean and stuff of this nature, like even here in the Dominican Republic. So when I hear those comments, I'm like, these changes aren't happening because of the Passport Brothers. These changes aren't happening. And yeah, and don't comment that on my channel any longer, please. That's such an insult. My heritage, my people, my children, who I am. I identify as black. And just because my skin is pale, I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I had to experience that my whole life. Discrimination because my skin is pale. I come from downtown Toronto, and when they started to do multiculturalism, I hung around only my black friends, and the teachers were white, and the teachers would choose only my black friends to go put them into black programs. And I would be always left out. And I would be like, well, why didn't my friends go into these programs? They were allowed to go into these programs, and they say, don't worry, it's for the black kids. I'm black. I would have to go home and tell my dad, who was a badass Rastaman, and he would strut to the school and he would drape up some of those teachers and have to tell them, you better stop being racist against my daughter. Don't just think because her skin is fair skin that she is white and she can't take part in some of these programs. Like what you're doing, I understand multiculturalism is important, but you can't just go and discriminate against other children. So none of this color stuff makes sense to me. None of this racism and all these comments of the passport brothers, blah, blah, blah. It's hurtful. And those are the guys that are bringing money to Pedro Clisante. They are helping Pedro Clisante exist, but the investors don't want Pedro Clisante to exist. They just don't. And it has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with the girls. It has to do with land, property, prime real estate. That's what Sosua is. It is prime real estate. It is definitely somewhere where people come, they don't want to leave. It gives off this energy of, whew, I like it here. It has that type of energy, that vibration in the air. And that is exactly what the investors sense and feel as well. And they're like, yo, we're taking this. How do we get rid of it? Get rid of the girls. You think only the passport brothers come for the girls? No way. You go up in La Mulata and you'll see a lot of Germans up there that are with the girls. Italian men, you know, a lot of white men come here for the girls. A lot of them are right there on Pedro Clisante too, but they just congregate in usually 1 or 2 spots because they're older and they can't compete with the brothers because the girls don't want to sleep with all of those men any longer. If they can sleep with a nice fit or a nice black man, and you know, they're going to have fun when they go to that Airbnb. They're going to play music. They're going to pop bottles. They're going to be able to dance. They're going to be able to enjoy themselves. Why would they want to go to some villa all the way up in La Mulata with some man that just wants to freak them and whatever? You know, no, it has nothing to do with anything except prime real estate, and they want it. That's it. So nobody ruined it for anybody. If anything, it has to do with where a lot of the Russian oligarchs have to put their money, you know, because they can't put their money in the United States when the United States is angry at Russia. And then also China can't go to the United States. They have to go. So a lot of them are moving around to the Caribbean islands. This is a beautiful place to be. They can't go to Turkey. They can't go to Iran. They can't go to the Middle East. There's just too much unrest. And they're not going to go to Canada. Why would they go to Canada? Canada's not where people want to invest their money, you know? Real Sosua, I love you. Hello, Cerise. My name is Raphael, and I will meet you soon. Hello, Raphael. I would love to meet you. Jonas says, so a man can walk and pick up a girl, and the police won't mind. A man can walk with a girl. And the police aren't going to do anything. Even if they know she's a known prostitute, they're not going to go up to that man and say, you got to go. Like, you're going to jail. You're with a prostitute. How is he supposed to know she's a prostitute? Maybe she's not even telling him she's a prostitute. A man's not going to get arrested. And the police, they can't assume that she's still a prostitute. Maybe she gave her life up of being a prostitute to meet this dude and be with him, you know? So yeah, I would say walking down the street with a girl is totally fine. Jonas says 2,500 times 2 guys equal big money in the economy. Absolutely. Guys that I know, I was walking down the street the other day. Hold on, Mark. 2,500 for girls. No food or drinks. Val, hi. I know you won't remember me since you met a lot of people, but we met at Flip Flop one time. Hopefully enjoying his cookies. Hi, Val. I don't remember a lot of people, but I'm very nice to meet you again. And Jonas, thank you. Real Sosua, Halloween will tell everything. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Real Sosua. Oh, Real Sosua. Even your name says Sosua. You love Sosua. But you think more positively. It will change. Sosua will change. But again, it's not because of the girls. The girls will be back around in the new Sosua, and it's going to take time to tear Sosua down. They will be put in other places. Trust me. Oh, there was a question here. I don't want to lose that question. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I was walking along the beach the other day, right? And a lot of men come here, and I'll see them. My arm's getting tired. I'll see them as I'm walking down the street, and they'll be like, Cerise Fairfax, and they'll hail me up. They're like, I knew I was going to see you sometime during this trip, or, I thought I wanted to see you. And they don't hit me up to go out because they know I'm busy, right? And I respect that too, because, most times I can't go out and meet people like my every day of my life. I work 7 days a week. And so I make myself busy. I love being busy. So I was walking down the beach the other day, and the beach was packed with people, all the way from the Charamicos end where I started, all the way to the other end. Packed. People were walking, having a good time. And I was like, I was not expecting this. And it was like 6 o'clock in the evening. I was not expecting it. So I get to the end of the beach, and 2 guys, I'm walking with Noche, and this was during the day, not when I did my trip back, but during the day. And 2 guys yell me out. They hail me out, Cerise. And I turn around and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, how are you liking it with all these changes? They're like, I'm good. I love it. Like, there are no changes. So you have to come here to see it, to make sure that, it is, to see that there's no changes. Then his name was, oh my gosh, I just know Big Hurt. His name on here is Big Hurt. I'm leaving, and he grabs my hand, and he says, oh, hey, here, take this. And I'm like, oh no. And I can feel his money in my hand, and I can feel it's like a big bundle. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no, you need that for your vacation right here, for your trip. That's okay. Let me just do a video with you. And he's like, no, I'm not ready to do a video yet. He says, but I'll tell you something. This money is for you. I thank you so much for your information. And I'm like, but you should use this money for your trip. He's like, look, I'm foundational American. I'm good. I got my money. When I come on a trip, I make sure that I'm good. Like, I don't need to count my pesos. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so nice. And after I felt so guilty for taking it, right? Because that's not what I do these videos for. YouTube will give me a couple of bucks. I do these videos because I enjoy you guys. I want you guys to know what's going on here. I want to get you guys apartments. I want you guys to come here seamlessly and feel good, kick your feet up and enjoy your life. But I get to the restaurant that I was going to sit down, and it was over $100. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was in pesos. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so you'll never believe how many people asked me for money that day. So many locals that I know from time, and they weren't working girls. They were just locals that always asked for money. Many of them were Haitians. Many of them were Haitians that were just coming. I was by Plan B. So there are a lot of Haitians that can stick up in that area, and they just kind of come out the street, and there's not a lot of police action up there. So many of them were Haitians, and I know that they really needed it. So, I gave like 100 pesos here, 100 pesos there, 50 pesos here, 50 pesos there, and I love paying it forward. So yeah, no, everyone comes here. When they come, especially the brothers, they're not going to come broke pocket. They're going to come and they're going to spend. And I hear that a lot from a lot of the expats here. They say, oh, the brothers came and ruined it because they spend all their money, and they're pampering the girls and the prices went up. Isn't that more positive? Isn't that more positive to say they're not using the girls and taking advantage of them? Isn't it more positive to say that they're coming here and buying food and buying the most expensive fish on the beach? They're coming, they save their money. They're not coming here to do anything except enjoy life. And they are spending their hard earned cash. It is their money that they worked very hard for. They're clean, they look good, they're always smiling, enjoying life. Let them live. But again, I don't think they're the targets. I really don't. It is just real estate. It's prime real estate. It's all along the coast right here. Sosua just happens to be an already established neighborhood. And many of the people that own those lands are Dominicans and Jewish people. And many of the Jewish people that own those big lots, those big lands, they don't even live here any longer. Most of them moved to America, to the United States. Most of them moved back to Europe, and they have all this land here, and many of their families don't even study here. Many of their children moved to the United States and Israel. And, they moved, but they still own the land here, and they'll sell it. They'll be like, sure, they'll sell it. So Sosua is owned, a lot of these lots, by foreigners. And a lot of these shops, like, yes, some Dominicans do own land here. Absolutely. Obviously, yes. A whole Dominican family owns one corner right on Pedro Clisante, and here in Charamicos. But a lot of Jewish families also own land as well. So people are ready to sell, especially Dominican families, especially the Dominican families who watch the foreigners come in, and they watch the foreigners stay in Bate, and they watch the foreigners spend their money. They watch the foreigners live really good lives, and they're like, whoa, I want that life too. And their land here is worth so much. They're like, sure, I'll sell my land, because they're going to get millions. These Dominicans right here in this area, most of the landowners, they speak English, or they are builders. My landlord is amazing. He is one of those guys that owns properties everywhere. And the guy across the street, you guys saw him on my video yesterday. I stopped him in the street and I asked him what he thinks about this place, like what's going on here. And he said, ask him another time. He owns properties here in Charamicos, like almost the whole corner over here. He owns the building next door to me, and he owns property in Bate, like right over by Plan B. I'm not going to call out what else he owns, but this man owns a lot of property. So this is, and not only that, about 2 months ago, the electricity kept going out almost every single day for like 3-4 hours here in Charamicos. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of us were really shocked. And then we heard that they were putting a brand new plant in Montellano, brand new electrical plant for electricity. And now when the electricity goes out, since then, I'm actually shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh, the electricity went out and it only goes out for like maybe 5 minutes. And it's because it's raining or it's like really humid or something like that. And I don't know what it does to the wires. But yeah, it does. The electricity doesn't go out as much. They did a whole entire plant. I was told this. So they're preparing too for electricity. There's a lot going on. When they start building electrical plants and they start making sure we have electricity, they're doing every single thing that they can. Static from Simoran says, I just got my passport today. Can I take a cruise to the Sioux? Yeah, you can take it to Puerto Plata. Jonas says, yep, you can take it to Puerto Plata. You can take a cruise without a passport? Really? I didn't know that. Karim. Real Sosua. So they want, I believe that will be one of their targets. Yes, you can take a cruise. I heard Sosua used to be a Jewish enclave. Yes, it was. It was given to them first in 1946 during the Holocaust. 46 families came here, Jewish families came here. They were refugees, and the Dominican government said, come on here, we have a piece of land, you can farm here, and it's right by the water. So they fished and they farmed, and the Jewish people are what settled Sosua. And that's why there is still a lot of Jewish influence here. They even have a Jewish museum, and that's why there's still a lot of Jewish people that come here. DR was the original Israel before they settled Palestine in 1948. I could see that. Neptune, Cerise, the chicas are gone. They'll be back. They're not gone. They're all on the motorcycles. They're getting their business. They stand on business. Those girls are not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So you see that whole street, that whole beach street that goes all the way up and around to Pedro Clasante? All of that people will be asked to be bought out as well. I know somebody who just bought a good piece of property there near the end of the beach, just before you go onto the beach. I know somebody who is an American expat, and he just bought a lot of land right there. Like the land, he even got the title for it, which I find is very interesting because they're building a plaza right there, and he just bought the land. And I don't know what he will build on that land, but they may try to red zone him out if he tries to build anything. So he will be left with maybe just the shacks that are there right now. And how could he compete with the plazas, right? So I think that he'll have no choice but to sell. And I think a lot of those places will, once things are booming, I think a lot of those places, and a lot of them are already empty going down the beach road, right? A lot of those places are already empty, and they're not renting them out to people. So I do believe that some of those owners are just waiting for an offer as well. I don't know for sure, but I have heard a lot before all of the construction started to go on. And I was talking about it on my YouTube channel, and I had other vloggers and people saying, oh, Cerise, that will never happen. And there were vloggers saying, oh, she's dreaming. I've been here longer than her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And then boom, they broke ground, and then it started to happen. And now all of the rest of the changes are happening and everything. So I'm not saying listen to me. I'm not saying that I am the know-it-all. I'm not trying to say that, don't get your information from anywhere else. I'm just saying to you right now, it has to do with prime property, prime real estate. This is prime real estate. It is on the coast of the water. It is the heart of the Dominican Republic. It is a place that is booming. Santiago is booming. Santo Domingo is booming. And this is a place that is going to continue to boom. It can't even be compared to Cuba. Cuba can't even be compared to here. So I want you guys to know that when I brought out that information from the very beginning, and I said, guys, the beach is going to get torn down. A lot of you guys did believe me. A lot of you guys were like, okay, all right, let's see if it's true. Like, she's not the type of person that's just going to pull this from the air. But again, a lot of vloggers were just like, she's dreaming. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's new here. Where would she get this information? Who's going to tell her this information? And these people were saying they have more connections. But I have really good connections here. I'm a female, and I also don't, I live in the local area, and I don't want to put myself on a pedestal. But, when I had my television show here on Channel 3, I also did meet a lot of people as well. And people like to share information, and I'm quite confidential. Even on my story times, I do not tell names of the people. And as a soul coach, I do not like to give out names. So when I hear a little bit of information, I put it out there as best I can, is confidential with confidentiality. But I'm telling you right now, the changes in Sosua, they are not to attack any certain group of people. It is not. It's for prime real estate. It is not to get rid of the passport brothers. So stop putting, again, I can't stress that enough. Stop putting that into the comments, because it's really a reflection of who you are, not a reflection of who the passport brothers are. The girls, they will still make their way. And these investors, they know how resilient the girls are. They know that there are dating apps. They know that when the guys come in town, they can get themselves a villa. 6 guys come into town, they get a villa in one of the gated communities. The girls just roll up in a taxi cab. They just say, okay, take a taxi here. We're in villa blah blah blah. Or even if a guy comes solo and he's staying in one of the Airbnbs, he talks to the girl on the app, and the girl's going to go see him. That's it. They just are clearing out that area because they're saying they want to make it family and all that stuff, but it's probably going to be more business than anything. There's probably going to be more hotels. There's probably going to be that's like maybe more condos, maybe a few restaurants and stuff like that. But it definitely is going to change over time. And there are a lot of restaurants on Pedro Clasante, and many of them are very awesome, and many of them are thriving, but many of them do close down quickly. They open up, they close down. There's only a few of them that actually have stayed open, and those are really good ones, like really, really good ones. But there's only a few of them that are actually making money. Even though they're staying open, doesn't mean they're making money. A lot of them, they're making just enough money. But then there are some that really are making money, and they're good. They're good spots because the owners know what they're doing, and the owners are really smart. But yeah, there will be a few places that will be closed down, and that's just what the target is. So it has nothing to do with the ladies, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with the brothers, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with the businesses. They want the businesses to go hungry. They want this tourism to stop on that street. That's the only way that it can become a ghost town in order for them to offer those businesses money to buy out the same way they did on Playa Sosua. Go right up like a pantyhose run. Boom. Go right up from the beach. Boom. After those plazas open up, people are like, no one's going to go to those plazas. Yes, they will. Those plazas are going to be beautiful. I see the way Dominicans build condos here. I see the way that they use their ceramic, the way they use the granite, the way they build their windows, their pools, their patios, the furniture. Just the condos are gorgeous here. They're beautiful. They are a step above, in my opinion. And when I see a lot of the places here, almost Canada can't even compete, and I'm like, wow, these are really beautiful places. So if the Dominicans can do that, then imagine what they're going to do. The Dominican government, imagine what plans they have for these plazas. They're going to be the chef's kiss. They're going to be gorgeous. They are going to be a representation of things that are the best around the world. People are going to want to come and just sit there and chill out. They're going to be overlooking the water. And I don't know what I don't think it's going to be all cement. I hope there's going to be some grass in between. I miss grass. But yeah, I don't know. They're going to make sure that some of the places have music. A lot of the places will have food. It's really going to be a cut above. And they're going to make sure of that. The investors are going to make sure that they're going to appeal to other people around the world. And there are a lot of people around the world that have billions of dollars. Billions. Look how many people are trying to buy their way in to the United States when Trump brought out that new bill. But I think it was called the gold card, not the green card, but the gold card or something. And for $5 million, you can buy your residency. How many people were paying $5 million? So many people. And that made so much money for the United States. It still is making money for the United States. And it's no sweat off the United States back, because people are buying residency cards and they're just going to go in there and build. They're becoming residents of the United States. So that means that they can go in and build, and they're free to do whatever, go back and forth, summer home. And China, actually, I was watching one show of abandoned homes. And this one Chinese dude on a beach in the United States, I forget which area it was in the United States, he built a home. And this home that he built, on the outside was all cement. You go inside and the whole entire house is made with gold. Gold. There's gold sinks. Everything is gold, and it's abandoned, but he still owns it. They can't remove that gold. What are they going to go in and solder some of the gold off? It's illegal. The whole place is abandoned. It's beautiful. Gold everywhere. And that's what this dude did. He just took his gold and he put it into that house. That is millions of dollars. And this is the type of money that is around the world right now. And this is the type of money that is investing in Sosua, because of, obviously, the wars that are going on right now. The Israeli war and the Russian war. These are huge investors. We're talking about a lot of resources. We're talking about gold. We're talking about oil. We're talking about prime land. Russia itself is a gold mine. They are very, very wealthy people. China, amazing there too. And so the Arabs, the Middle East, there's a lot of money all around the world. And so there is a lot of undercover business going on. And people like us who are just sitting back saying, oh, that's it for Sosua. Sosua is in for a remake. 2.0. Sosua is going to be back with muscles like, whoa. And when you guys come back, you may say, oh, I don't like the new Sosua, but you may say, I love the new Sosua because it reminds me of the old Sosua. where people used to come and there was more than just one nightclub. People used to come and there was more than just, whatever. When I first came 7 years ago, the whole entire Pedro Clasante was lit. People were going into even Club 59 Clásicos. Willie is creating Clásicos. That's Willie's land right there. He just remodeled his whole entire bar as he knows that that is going to be part of the new Sosua. He just went in there and fixed it all up. Wait till that opens up. That's going to be opened up in probably about another week. Wait till we see the beauty in there. That's going to be like, wow, everyone's going to be going there. And obviously, there's going to be a lot going on in Sosua. So if the mayor of Sosua redid his, and I don't want to talk about Willie because I respect Willie and I love the guy. Whenever I see him, he's great. I hail him up, he's a good guy. He does what he does. He did really good for Charamicos and we all love him here. And, but when the mayor is redoing their properties, then you got to really think, because why would he go and do all that if there's not a new plan for Sosua? Why? If he knows before anyone else, okay? He's in the plans. He knows. He's privy to the information. So if there was going to be anything crazy going on and everything getting dead, he wouldn't go in there and rebuild his whole entire place. If anything, he would just sell it. But he went and rebuilt. And that makes me go, So these are things I don't want to talk too much either. I just want to let you guys know, what's really going on. Let's see. Buenas noches, Clize. Is it true that today there will be a protest? Yes, the protest is going on right now. Against the police, regular working women losing money. Yep. There's a protest going on at 6:00. And yes, Halloween will be open, and I'm pretty sure that Flip Flop is not going to close down Halloween. That's a very special time of year, and so is Feb. Let me see. Jap says, I understand your point, but the vibe is what I believe a lot of guys will miss. Oh, Jap, yeah. I mean, but we really also have to remember how it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Things usually come back around 360. And Sosua, the way it is right now, was never how it was like 10 years ago, before I even came. And 7 years ago when I came, it was a lot different. The streets were way better. So whatever they're going to do, they're going to make it better. Everyone knows there's not going to be families on that street 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. What are kids out doing that out at that time? I'm a mom and a grandmother. And, my children, I would never have them out at restaurants at 10 o'clock at night, ever. Like, you take your kids out for dinner at 6 o'clock, you have them home by like 8, if you're doing dinner. But a lot of people who have kids, they're cooking from home. And then grandchildren as well. If my grandchildren came here to visit me, I would take them out like to a nice restaurant, but they'd be in bed by 8 o'clock, So yeah, whatever changes they make, it's just very temporary. And again, it is solid ground, prime real estate. It is going all the way, like from Puerto Chiquito, even beyond Puerto Chiquito. Like you can see Puerto Plata from this coastline. There's Cangrejo. Cangrejo is another beach area going around to Puerto Plata. There's Poblito. There's so many different beach areas as well that aren't even, there's Dorada, right, where the golfing is. There's and the Malecon. It just goes straight. from the Malecon in Puerto Plata, just keep coming down. And there are parts of the beach that we don't even see because they are all the way in the backs of some of the fields. That beach coast still needs to be developed, but Sosua is an easy target because it already is developed. All they have to do is just rip out the main vein, put the main vein back in, pump it more, boom, people will come back. And then so yeah, you get by Cangrejo, you keep on coming by Puerto Chiquito. By Puerto Chiquito, it's you can get to Puerto Chiquito just by walking there. Here, if I want to walk to Puerto Chiquito from Charamicos, I can. Just go down the hill, go down the steps. I know a lot of you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to take a video and I'm going to show you guys this secluded beach down here. And they just paved the road. Before it was all rocks. They just paved the road. It's a brand new paved road, and it goes all the way down to the beach. And then there's like a little river. On the other side is that hotel, that old hotel that has been abandoned for so long. You know, the one that LaToya Jackson got married in. Well, no one bought that over, and that has been sitting there for a very long time. That right there, they're going to go in there and just demolish that and just put condos there probably too. They are just sitting on gold mines here. So when you come across here, you get to Sosua, you keep going. You have Pier Giorgio, and then you have Casa Marina, and then you have Infinity Blue. You keep on going up and around. You get to Cabarete. After Cabarete, you can keep going. You can get to Gaspar Hernandez. Gaspar Hernandez also has a very beautiful coastline as well. So Rio San Juan, it is a whole entire coastline. But Sosua is the target because Sosua probably has more possibility for building a little bit differently because Cabarete has a whole entire lagoon behind it. Cabarete has a laguna like behind it. Cabarete is a beautiful place, but in around the back where they're building a lot, and it's gorgeous, but there's a lagoon there. I don't know if you guys know that. There's a lagoon, and it travels around as well, and it overfloods a lot. And I lived in Cabarete at one time in a place called Procab, and there was the lagoon there. It was a beautiful area. So Cabarete is beautiful as well. But this Sosua is the middle. It's close to the airport. They're going to redo that airport as well. Don't joke yourselves. They're already bringing in more flights. Now they have stopped them. But before they were bringing in more flights, they just redid the Tarmacs. There's a lot. So it doesn't have to do with these girls. That's just the surface. That's the surface. The girls aren't that much of a problem. They're on Pedro Clisante on a simple corner. This is something else. Sosua is not just one street. If they wanted to make Sosua family, they could put out some jungle gyms, and they could clear out a whole entire empty field over here and build homes, and the families will all come and sit in gated communities. What is Pedro Clisante to families? Why Pedro Clisante? What's so special about Pedro Clisante? It's one street. It's one little area. It's just Pedro Clisante. It's one little block. Come on. Like, why do they want to clear that out so badly? Prime real estate. It leads straight to the beach. Boom. Just like that. They want places like the Marriott to, I was at a hotel. I went and I met someone at a hotel, a client at a hotel, to do a consultation. And I met him all the way down by Margot Restaurant. I didn't even know that hotel was there. It's one of the most beautiful hotels I've ever been to. So you go Margot Restaurant, and then you go straight down to the end. Holy smoly macaroni. The Dominicans that are like filthy rich. They were getting out of these big SUVs. The women had their Louis Vuittons and their Chanels. And trust me, I know my purses. These were real. The patterns on them were real. These were not knockoff purses. Their jewelry, real. Their hair all done. Their clothing crisp and clean. Their heels, beautiful. Red bottom heels. They're not just wearing some little, shoes. They are lit. And these Dominicans have money. And the Dominicans, the ones that do own land here, they want their land back. And not only that, they're willing to sell some of it. But this hotel that's at the bottom of Margot, if you guys never been there, just look up Margot Restaurant on maps and then go down and you will see this hotel. I don't have the name of it, but once you get the name of it, you can look it up online and you'll see, oh my gosh. As soon as I walked in, I was like, what is going on here? It's so beautiful. I think I'll go down there one day and get some work done. You can go in there and just go to the restaurant there. I went there and I had my consultation and yeah. And then of course there's Sosua Ocean Village. There's some fancy places that are being built here, and it has nothing to do with anybody that is ruining this place at all. It's to do with the investors that want the place. And the vision, let me see. Oh, wait. Real Sosua says, it will take 20 years for them to build those plazas. No, the one by my place is supposed to be built by my birthday, December. Real Cleasy says some gated communities, HOAs, condos, or whatever, introduce new rules for chicas. Interesting. MT places. Well, they have always had rules for the chicas. The chicas need to leave their ID at the door. MT places, true, will take them a long time to build what you are saying. Look how long it takes Classicals to complete and open. Classicals is one dude that is building slowly, all coming from his pocket. These are real investors. The Vision is real podcasts. It'll be nice, but it'll be corny, much like Bahamas. The vibe will be missed for sure. Yeah. Cleasy, true that vision. Real Sosua, everyone except the chicas will be in the Classicals. Real Sosua, you're just a sweetheart. Robert B. Lawrence, hello, how are you? Cleasy, the Chinese took Jamaica. Yes, yeah. But they love Jamaica. They do. Robert B. Hi, Robert. Real Sosua, who is doing all the work? It'll be maybe private people that they'll bring in. Right now, it's Haitians that have visas that are allowed to. They are actually working for the government. GM, because you have creep cams being played all over the world. I've seen guys posting videos with hidden cameras. I know that was my town. I'd clean it up after all the creep cams. Yeah, I've never heard GM about with the creep cams, but there are a lot of guys that do that. I've been going to Sosua 38 years. They've had crackdowns like this. Yeah, people have invested in Sosua over and over. No girls, no Sosua. Very good points. Those plazas will not be built by December. So the president did this just last week. The president did, well, the tourism, Minister of Tourism, is the parade coming down here? Or the march? Are they bringing the march here to Charamicos? Do any of you guys know? They just brought out the loudspeakers. They only do that during parades. I wouldn't be surprised if they went all the way from Sosua, took it down Route 5, and then they're going to come around Charamicos and go back around again, because Charamicos is where a lot of the people live. Let me hear. There was a lot of police. Did you guys hear that? Now it's just quiet, but it stopped right out here. I didn't hear it go any further down the street. I wonder if they're going to come march in this area. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, but yeah, so the president didn't come. He made an announcement. The minister of tourism came, and they went all through the new plaza over here. It's almost built. They went all through the new plaza, and they looked at the grounds. They were looking at the roads, and the president spoke on the phone, and he said, yes, that all these plans are going through, and that this should be built by December. So right now we are in, let's say, August, September, October, November, December. That's only 4 months. And we get rainy season in September. And around September, we get rainy season, October, November. So they call that hurricane season. And we usually do get a lot of rain. It rained for the whole year last year. And Mr. T was one of the people that said it was biological warfare. Like, he said that these rains were being created. And we do know that a lot of governments can create rains. But was that one tactic to try to get people to stop coming? I don't know. That's only assuming. But at the same time, yeah, this plaza, if it doesn't rain, and if they can continue to get it done, lickety split, if their date is for December, I could see them finishing it by Feb. I could see it being finished by Feb. If their date is for September, that's a few months, and they just said this the other day, knowing the state of it right now. I'm going to take a video of it for you guys again on Tuesday. I'll take a nice video of it for you guys. It's going to get a little dark soon, so otherwise I would boogie over there. But I'll get another video of it for you guys on Tuesday, and I will do like a video on Tuesday, and I'll show you guys what it looks like from the bottom and stuff like that. It looks completely different from my last video already. Like, not completely different, but it does look like there is a significant difference. So I wouldn't be surprised if the president knows how long it takes to build something. Architects would be telling him how quickly they could get it done or not. I don't think he would pick these dates out of his hat. He's working with high-tech planners. So if he's saying December, it could be wishful thinking if there's a lot of rain. He can't stop the rain. The governments can't stop the rain, but they can make rain happen. I don't think they can stop rain. But yeah, the rainy season here is one of the rainy seasons here is usually the hurricane season, September, October, November. So let's see. But if they make that one first, they're making that one first, and they'll want that one to be open for high season. And high season starts in November. That means that if that's open for December, I don't know what they'll do on the beach, because that other one closer to the entrance is really getting built now. Before it was so slow, but now I can actually see the structures over top of the fence just in the last couple of weeks. So that's quite interesting as well. Let's see. Real soul. Okay. Saint the God. Hi, beautiful soul. They are protesting they're protesting today about the raids. Real Sosua. It's been 3 years since they started working on those plazas. February 2027. Real Sosua, you have a very good point. They have been working on these plazas for a very long time. And I think that these investors put their foot down and they're like, yo, we gave you this land. We gave you a land at one end of the beach, land at the other end of the beach, because these investors bought Playa Sosua from a Dominican family, right? Dominicans don't own that beach any longer. They sold it to foreigners. And so the foreigners gave the Dominican Republic land at end of one beach and land at the end of the other beach, and it was up to the government, to the president, to get those built. All of a sudden, they've been boogieing and clearing out Pedro Clisante the way they are. Someone put their foot down. Someone is muscling them. Someone is saying, yo, get boogieing right now. This is taking too long. They have their plans. And I've seen them build buildings here. Classical took a while because it's just one man investing his money into it. But I've seen my landlord build like 10 villas in just 8 months. And those 10 villas are even more than, well, it's those 10 villas. Oh, no, because that plaza over here is huge. But still, they can still open it in time. We're all going to be very surprised. Hey, Caribbean Casanova, how are you? Hey, love, thank you so much for the super chat. 10 more years. Real Sosua says, Saint God says the locals are protesting against it for the raids. Yeah. So the locals are protesting because this is the thing. I'm not quite sure what the raid is, what the march is for, but by what I heard, the march was starting to be organized since the raids. And so I'm just thinking that it's a lot of the people saying, okay, why are these raids happening? People are losing their jobs. This is unnecessary. Pedro Clisante isn't that bad. Tourism is great. They also stopped a few flights here. So people are worried about their income. And that's it. But they did the same thing when the beach was getting, when they found out that the beach was going to get torn down. Some people even got shot down the street here. The guns went off. I did a video on it. Some people got shot. And of course, the guns here, the bullets are more like shrapnel, I think it's called. And the guns aren't like the real guns that can kill. No one got killed, but people got, when the bullet went out, like the bullet went, like it sprayed, if that makes sense. And so people got cuts of like shard in their bodies. And right here down at the beach, the Charamicos entrance, I took video of it. So they did a protest then as well. And they do a protest, and the protest lasts for the day. If it gets out of hand, the military comes in and the police just take people away, arrest them, and then hours later, everything is back to normal. And so that's why a lot of people are thinking that Sosua is going to get put back to normal. And I just feel that it will eventually, but not how we know it as it is right now. It's prime real estate. It's along the coastline. It's already a town. It's already made into a whole town. It has Playa Chiquita as well. I didn't even mention Playa Chiquita. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous coastline. And it has so much potential for very, very wealthy billionaires, and not even for the close-knit homes that there are now. Like here in Charamicos at the very bottom near the beach, when you go down there, I can't go down there with a camera because a lot of Haitians are down there, and I wouldn't want to video anyone, unfairly just because of a video. And I don't want to get, I don't want to be, I don't want them to think that I'm that inconsiderate. These are my neighbors. But down at, it's called La Piedra, which means the rock, and it overlooks the water, just like Pier Giorgio does. If you guys know where Pier Giorgio is, it's over by the Blue Casino in the back. It has like a dip, and the rock is over here is beautiful. That water is pristine, great for fishing, great for diving. It's beautiful. And it has it's like a little shanty town. It has all of these little dilapidated shacks literally on top of each other, and the sidewalks, you can just get a motorcycle down, but you definitely could not get a car down those side streets. And it's like a maze. Like it's cute. It's really cute. I mean, if it was fixed up and if the roofs looked really good and if they really redid all of that, you guys would be coming in here and loving it. It would look gorgeous, but they don't have any running water, really. It's a little bit of running water. It's not a place where they would have like air conditioning or anything of that nature. It's dirty, it's run down. And so that would be prime real estate as well. And all they would have to do is, some of those homes are just like cardboard. They just go in and shoom, bulldoze it, exactly what they're doing on the beach. So this is another spot that they would go in and try to control. So, there's going to be some changes. Evolution is important, but I don't believe that Sosua is going to change so much that people are going to feel like they're not wanted here. I think we have to stop talking about the Passport Brothers. Like, it's so good that they are that popular and that famous, but people are really talking badly about them because of that one video that went viral. And that wasn't cool. There was one video where they said something about the Passport Brothers somewhere. And I don't even think that had anything to do with the Passport Brothers. Some people call themselves Passport Brothers and they don't even know the origin of the group, So I don't think those guys are being targeted. It's that's small beans compared to the reality of the prime real estate here. That's small beans. One street, Playa Sosua. I mean, one street, Pedro Clisante, one street. That's not anything. No one's getting killed. Well, someone did get killed a few months ago, but it was a Dominican guy that killed a Dominican guy. It had nothing to do with the girls. It had nothing to do with a foreigner. Do you guys remember that guy got killed outside of Ice Bar, like maybe about 5 months ago? Yeah, so there's really nothing really going on that would have to change too much. The locals are losing money on wigs, nails, and lashes have gone down significantly. Really? Wow. AL Travel. Flights cheap. Just paid $400 round trip from Puerto Plata for September. Wow. AL Travel from Chicago to Pop. Wow. Saint the God. Heart back to you, sweetheart. Cashing in CEO. Love Sosua. Sosua loves you too. Wow, that's good news to know. The flights are going down, and the nails and the hair and the wigs, if those prices are going down, then maybe they were too expensive to begin with. I went for a manicure and a pedicure, and they wanted to charge me 2,000 pesos. And I'm like, I live in Charamicos. What do you mean 2,000 pesos? I can get it for 300 pesos on my street. And they're like, this is Bate. And I'm like, oh, please don't play that game with me. They're like, okay, 500 pesos for a manicure, 500 pesos for a pedicure. And I was like, I'll do my own. But I mean, that is fair. 10 bucks and 10 bucks is fair. But I mean, here in Charamicos, I can get it for a fraction of the price. But yeah, so the hair and nails, the ladies should be doing their own hair and nails anyway. There's too many of those shops on Pedro Clisante. A lot of those shops are going to be getting torn down too. There's just all these little boutique shops that aren't even making money already. Have you guys ever walked into any of those boutique shops? Ever? Like going down Pedro Clisante? There's all these little boutique shops and nobody goes into them at all. Most of the lady, not most of the ladies, some of the ladies, they're trying to make a living, but it's difficult, you know? So yeah, I think it would be nice if they all just got together and made a nice big, nail emporium where you can go in and get a nice blowout and it's not just a small shop. You can get a massage, you can get like real good treatment and have it nice luxury. I would really like that. The Vision is Real podcast. Your Canadian accent is so dope. Thank you. I have an accent. MT places fly from Toronto to Pop next week. How much from Toronto to Pop? Wow. And cashing in CEO. Soon it will be dirt cheap. Yes, there will be a lot of things that are dirt cheap. And these women aren't going to be able to play game any longer. And, there's going to be a lot that's going to happen with the prices, but not the rent, not the real estate. Remember, it's prime real estate. That's going to remain the same. I don't believe restaurants will drop their prices so much either because they can't. They're still paying those expensive prices for food. So they may do like a buffet, like what Germany Bar and Grill does every Thursday and Casa Coco does every Saturday. Casa Coco is 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they do buffet every Saturday. And that for like, I think 650 pesos, which is like 13 bucks. Germany Bar and Grill, they do one for I think 550 pesos, which is like 11 bucks every Thursday. So they'll probably do more buffets. Restaurants will to bring in clients, but I don't think restaurants will lower their prices. I think they would rather sell their restaurant and just make their money and just go open up somewhere else or not. AL says, yeah, the Chica prices, I think they will go down. Let me see. The RD is much bigger than Sosua. Absolutely. I lived in multiple places in the RD. Sosua is a starter location. I hope that country becomes more developed. Many guys never leave Sosua. It's the nostalgia. Kevin Marshall. That's true. I hear that there's some great places in Santo Domingo. Real Sosua Germany Bar and Grill does a buffet. What comes with the buffet? So because they are German, they have like a lot, they're very meat eating culture. So they have like a lot of, I guess it's like a lot of sausages and schnitzels or something and ribs. There's just a lot of meat. When I went to the buffet before, a lot of meat. So you guys that are meat eaters, you will love that. Like meat, meat, meat. They have really good salads as well. And it's all barbecue. It's all barbecue. And apparently it is delicious. I took my motoconcho one time and I went in and I saw everyone there and I was like, wow, they were chowing down. I have a friend that goes there every Thursday and he's a picky eater and he won't go to every restaurant. He said there's one restaurant that we all know really sucks and he will not go there. And then he goes there only for the buffet. But I don't agree with him on the restaurant that he said sucks. It's a good restaurant. I'm chewing. If you guys see me chewing something after I drank, it's because I have cucumber inside of my water and papaya seeds. It's good. Cucumber water with papaya is really good. And Saint the God says the original passport bros promoted brotherhood. Yeah, travel and real estate. Yeah, so many families never traveled outside of the neighborhoods. Then you had YouTubers who used the name for the clickbait. Yeah, a few YouTubers, Cab No Limit, Empty Places, Air Transat, Real Sosua, No Sausages, Please. Pause. Yeah, the real Passport brothers were very, very classy brothers. Like any of them that I ever met. They encouraged travel and they encouraged brothers to get out of the comfort zone of the United States and travel the world, save their money, buy real estate. And this is something so beautiful. And sure, they would have a few cigars and a few drinks and indulge in the ladies. This is male nature. But that is not what I remember the Passport brothers to be. And they started this movement, and some people who were trashy just latched on to the name. How you guys know how I say I live where I love and I love where I live. I've been seeing that all over Facebook. People, they latch on to something that's catchy, right? So I've been seeing people actually post their photos with I live where I love and I love where I live. And uh, okay, it's not just my saying, but I have a whole song about it. I put it in every video. I've been saying it for years. And I don't even know who these people are. Some of them are, joining my group on Facebook. And they know that the saying, they probably heard the saying from me. But, just things catch on. I'm not hating on them because I think it's cute. It's flattery, but still the Passport brothers, it's not their fault that there are some skeezy people out there doing sleazy things under the Passport brothers name. So we really have to be really cognizant of the fact that this town is not going down because of a few people. And this town is it's not going down, it's getting demolished because they plan on building it back up. Hard Rock Cafe is here. The Marriott is here. Down by the water's edge, they have a lot of places that are going to be building up. And they're not going to be just little Airbnbs. They're going to be quite expensive. And let me see. Jonas, I personally don't leave out of Sosua because it's like a convenience store, basically in and out. Yeah, it is. Saint the God, heart back to you. And cashing in CEO, you single? Yes, I am. Real Sosua, they trying to steal your style. It's all love. And yes, I'm single here too because I don't go after the Dominican young men. And the Dominican men that are my age, 53, they are they're married. That's just how the culture is, right? The culture is they're 50 something, they settle down. It's usually the young boys that want their sneakers, they want the latest cell phone, they want a brand new moto, they want you to pay for their passport, they want you to pay for their license, they want you to give them money so they can go out with their boys to the river on Sunday, and they want to make sure that they look good and feel great. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want all that. I don't want all that. At least you guys, when you guys go for the chicas, at least the chicas are going to clean your house. They're going to, take care of you, cook for you. These young boys aren't trying to do any of that for any of us women. And a lot of my friends go for these young boys as well. And then they get afterwards, they get like a headache. The other day, my motoconcho came and knocked on my door. I said to him, because he goes and he picks up my pack. I have two motoconchos, but it was my Motoconcho Eddie. I'm going to say his name because I just don't want you guys to confuse this with my other Motoconcho who has a wife and kids. He's a very dignified man and he drives a red motorcycle. This is not the guy I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy that drives the Piscina. And I don't mind saying his name because he sometimes gets under my skin. But he's been my Motoconcho for 6 years now. And the other day he comes to my door. I told him, I said, later on, I have a package. You can go to EPS and pick up I have 2 packages coming in. And he's like, all right. All of a sudden, he rings my doorbell. And I'm like, I don't like people ringing my doorbell. I don't like people coming to my door without me knowing. And he's like, I'm like, hola. And he's like, it's Eddie. I open my door and I'm like, yeah, todo bien? And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh, what does he want? That's how these young boys are. He's not young though. He's like in his 40s. Well, 40 is young, but I mean, I'm talking about the 20-something-year-olds that go for the 50-year-old women. And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, what's up? And he's like, his tire. And I'm like, okay, well, I am not paying for your tire just because I'm your client, So I said, okay, you can go to the grocery store for me, go do some grocery shopping. And I gave him a couple of pesos for that. And it was enough for him to go get his tire fixed. But yeah, I'm not anyone's mama. I don't want to take care of a man. I don't want to take care of a boy, I don't like it when the young Dominican men, they go like this. Look at my cell phone, it's broken. Sometimes they break it on purpose because they want a brand new cell phone because they know that you have a nicer cell phone. I've heard all of the stories, and the Sankey Pankies are worse with some of these Canadian women that I know that live here. These Sankey Pankies, they're worse. We have a group on Facebook called Sankey Panky, a literal group on Facebook, and they post the photos of the dudes and they ask, I met this guy on the resort. Does anyone know him? And they actually have an app right now for women in America. It's called T or something. And women can go on that app and post photos of a certain man to ask if he is a good guy or not. So that's interesting. Yeah, listen, if I have to take a photo of a man and put him on a group, I'm not into it. If I cannot trust that man from my own gut, I'm not about to plaster his face all over the internet and ask other ladies about him. He could have been an ass to someone else that he didn't like, but there could be something about me that he really does like. He could have used up some other woman at some other time 4 or 5 years ago and changed his life over. Maybe became born again or something, so that app is, I think that app is not all that great, but I get the concept of it. But here, the app for Sankey Pankies, it's necessary. It's so necessary. I went into a whole song and dance, but that's just the truth. Someone told me, Saint the God says, someone told me DR is no longer a third world country. No, it has transformed into a developing country. Exactly. So changes are bound to come. Yeah, it's not a third world country at all. Cashing in CEO, opposite of Chicas. Yes. DFW817 King. That's a different name. Sugar Mama. Not here. Jonas says, I honestly love Sosua. To me, it's the best place in the world. Aw, I got my passport and it only has Dominican Republic stamps on it. It's very close and the people are great. I agree with you. I love it here too. Val, when I go to DR, I normally go to Puerto Plata and the capital for the culture. I just visit Sosua for homies. I normally visit just 1 to 3 chicks. I speak Spanish and they're for the culture. That's nice. You're here for the culture. That's beautiful. Tell Eddie, Cashing in CEO says, tell Eddie he got to share the love. Let me see. Kick rocks. Yeah, Eddie knows to kick rocks. But he was my main source of everything during the pandemic. And that's when he really became my good friend. I had nobody else during the pandemic. It was Eddie. And we would go to, I don't know if I should say this, but like, there were a lot of curfews, put it that way, and a lot of restrictions and regulations. And so we would go to rivers that were, like closed down, but we would like jump over the barrier and just go into the rivers. The rivers here are so beautiful. And we would, bring like Elsa, my buddy, and she was dating a dude at the time. And the four of us would go and, just make a nice little sancocho on the rocks. Like sancocho is like a stew. And they would maybe make some chicken and rice right there on the rocks, and we would go swimming in the river. Not a soul in sight at all, and it was so beautiful. I made a lot of memories here during the pandemic that will live with me forever. And then there were some times where the on the weekends, the curfew was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You could only go out until 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's actually when story time started during the pandemic. I had people messaging me from all around the world saying to me, "Oh, Cerise, how's Sosua going?" And then they would start telling me stories, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's such a good story. Can I share that?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely." And now I have so many people share stories with me. And that's why I always have like I have so many story times right now on the back burner. Some days I don't know which one to bring out. I'm like, oh, I'll bring out this one or I'll bring out that one. This week coming up, that's right. This week coming up, I will be bringing out the story of the guy that I spoke about in one of my videos last week. The guy that a girl gave him fake ID, and he took a girl into the hotel. He was with her in the hotel bar all day. He was in the pool with her all day. He was hanging out with her. And then at nighttime, he took her to his room. And then in the morning, he took her out the front door. And the security guard said to him, "She's underage." No one told him all night, He was terrified. But then he said to the security guard, he's like, "No, she's not underage. She has ID." And the security guard said, "Show me your ID." And she took her ID out and she showed the security guard. And the security guard said, "That's fake ID. That's fake." And then this guy, he was like, oh my gosh, he was so terrified. And he was afraid because this hotel had his passport information. They knew when he was checking out, and he just felt like he was a sitting duck. And so, the security guard, the security guard is supposed to be involved with all of that, And so the security guard said to him, "It's all right. Like, I'm not going to say anything. I understand that you saw that identification and you don't know how to tell the fake identification." And he's like, "Yeah, you don't know. You're not going to say anything, but this is a whole entire hotel. How many other people may say something?" So it's going to be a cliffhanger. I'm going to tell you guys what happened after that. And that's going to be on Thursday. So that's a story and a half. But yeah, I've made a lot of memories here, and I love Sosua. I'm just like Jonas, difficult to leave here. And under fire, it's good to hear Sosua talk. And cashing in CEO, can you cook? I can cook. I love cooking. I love cooking. I love cooking for people. I have a dog and a cat, and I cook for them. And I was saying earlier, they will not just eat boiled chicken. I season that up for them, and they like seasoned chicken. They will not eat just anyone's food either, especially my cat, but my dog too. Yeah. They need to have it nice and seasoned up. As a matter of fact, I knew I was ready for a change because I have two children. I have a daughter that is 36. She's going to be 37 in November, and I have a son that's 30. So when I moved here, my son was already in his career as an architectural glazer and technician, architectural technician, glazer, or whatever. It's like working in high buildings in downtown Toronto, or like huge big pieces of glass and stuff like that. And so he was already in his career doing well. And so I used to love cooking. And then it got to a point where I would leave messages for him on text message. And I'd be like, okay, sweetheart, this is what's on the menu. I'm a person that doesn't load my fridge up with food. I go to the grocery store. Back in the day, I would go to the grocery store every day and get whatever was on sale. And so I would, get fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh meat, and, a nice bun, like whatever. And so I would tell him what was on the menu. And he used to love that. But then once he started to make his own money, he would say to me in text message, he'd say, "Oh, Mom, it's okay. I'll take it for lunch because I'm bringing home dinner," or something like that, And then I realized he's so grown now, that I didn't have anyone else to cook for. And I thought to myself, I need to travel a little bit more. I need to get out and about. And so that was one of the first things where I knew my son was getting older, and being a mom was now changing a little bit. And I was very proud of him, still very proud of him, and of my daughter, very proud of both of them. They're very good people, very good adults, like just such good people. And I think that really is the mark of just, I think, a good human being. But yeah, and I really miss cooking for him. And so now, and also during the pandemic, I thought I was going to have some people to cook for, but no, everyone was fed during the pandemic. But I do. I know how to cook some oxtail and rice, and I know how to cook Jamaican meals. I know how to cook like now Dominican meals, and I know how to cook I know how to season things up, but I don't know how to cook like shepherd's pie or like those types of meals. Like a steak, I would have. I like to slice meat up and make sure it's well seasoned, and stew it and cook it, fry it, stuff like that. MT Places, Cab No Limit. Yes, Air Transit, Cleasy. Sosua gets boring after a few days. I've been to Santo Domingo last time after spending the weekend in Sosua, but your Espanol needs to be somewhat good. Yes. Cashing in CEO, I'm falling in love. Has Cerise, how Cerise Fairfax got her groove? Groove. My gosh, how Stella got her groove. I know. I think it's a woman of my survive on families alone. Stephen. Sosua could survive on, Sosua will survive. Sosua will survive. Oh yeah. But yeah, Sosua will survive. I love Sosua. I love living here. I love the people. I love the culture. I have noticed a little bit of difference in the air. I have been getting a couple of looks from the Dominicans, like, almost like, I don't know, a little cold, a little cold. I don't know what it is. I've noticed it a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. 2 days since the raids, and from the women, not prostitutes, just working class women. A couple of times I noticed it. I don't think those girls knew me, like know that I have a channel or anything like that. I was sitting at a restaurant in an area where they wouldn't know me. Kind of gave me a look, maybe, and they didn't smile like how they usually smile when I smile. So it was a little uncomfortable. And it's, I don't know. I hope that doesn't keep up. I hope that that good vibe where they do rely on tourism still is a good vibe. I don't know if that makes sense. And I hope that was just a feeling that I had out of insecurity because of the raids that are going on. And but they know I'm not a working girl. They know that they could see that I probably live here. I had my dog with me. And I was just chilling at a bar, like sitting outside, and I was just drinking a juice, orange juice. I wasn't with anybody else. I was just by myself. And usually when I smile at the ladies, they smile back, but they just went. And I was like, oh, that was cold. And it happened twice, 2 different days. So I don't know. Maybe it's changing. But I'm half joking. I don't think that it would change that quickly. Everyone relies on tourism here. This is a tourist town. So, and the flights are cheaper. So that looks great. And that means you guys can come on in, cheaper flights. And, maybe there will be cheaper hotel rooms. But I doubt that apartments will get cheaper. I don't know. I could be mistaken on that, but being in the real estate industry and the rental industry for 7 years here, I don't think the prices are going to go down, but they could. They went down during the pandemic. And my water is almost done. Read the first message. Stephen says, read the first message. Your first message that I have here says, survive on families alone. Let me scroll up. Stephen, I don't have any other messages from you. Can you rewrite it? Saint the God, remember those faces. They are showing their true colors during the challenging time. Ooh, very good point. Real Sosua, the prices will go down. Saint the God, that's right. That's so true. During challenging times and stuff. And the times are going to get, I think that once Sosua becomes what they're aiming for it to be, Dominicans will still have jobs. I don't think there will be any place here for undocumented foreigners, like Haitians. And I don't like to say that because, everyone is a person. But I think that there will be no hiding spots and they won't be able to get jobs. Right now, Haitians can get jobs at restaurants, like the Haitian girls can get jobs at restaurants and stuff like that. But once those smaller restaurants are moved out, people will have to have a cedula in order to get a job. That's their ID in order to get a job. They won't just be able to get hired on the spot and be paid like 200 pesos for the day for their work, because that's really not a good thing. When like a Haitian sometimes gets a job here and they're very desperate for money, and a Dominican, if they were to work that job, they would make 400 pesos for the day, which is $8 for an 8-hour shift or whatever. And then a Haitian will work that job for a little bit less of that money and maybe longer hours. And it's not fair on each end because it's a undocumented foreigner taking a job from a Dominican. At the same time, it's a foreigner that owns the business that's taking advantage of the undocumented person. So it's just two-edged sword. But I do believe that with the changes that are coming, it will be very wealthy Dominicans that will be coming here. Very much like the ones that go to the very beautiful restaurants in Puerto Plata, Santiago, and Santo Domingo. and also a lot of foreigners. It's going to be a different town. It's probably going to remind me of downtown Toronto a lot. Downtown Toronto when I was there. Nikosi X says, what about the prices of apartments for sale, up or down in your opinion? I do believe they're going to remain the same. I don't think they'll go up, but I do believe that they're going to remain the same. Kevin Marshall, I met you, Mr. T, and Jamo when I lived there. It's a small town. It will recover in time. Absolutely. And cashing in CEO, he's right. Who's right? Cashing in CEO. But you see, the real estate, the reason why it won't go down is because they're trying to buy everyone out. This is, again, prime real estate, and they're not going to lower the prices. They want some of these developments to go broke. There's a development that my friend bought a condo in a development. He put all his savings into it. He's the only one living in the building. There's someone in his corner of the building. There's someone living on the other side of the building, but he's still the only one living in that building. I brought someone to his place to look around. They don't even have, like, there's still dirt gravel. Like, the building is literally still gutted out. It's not like the whole thing is built and they're waiting for people to move in. His apartment is the only one that's finished. They are still trying to finish other apartments. This is what they want, these investors. They don't want to lower prices. They want to buy those places off those builders. Those builders have that land. They're putting money into those places, hoping that people will buy those places. No one's buying them because the prices are already high. And then they have to go belly up, and they have those places halfway built, and they will sell them off to those investors. These places are not going to go down in price. No way. These investors are billionaires. Billionaires. They know what they're doing. They're looking at all these unfinished buildings, and there's a lot of them unfinished, and they're looking at them, and it's eye candy for them, and they will get in on that before anyone else. Yeah. If the prices go down, if we do look at that end of the spectrum, just for conversation's sake, let's say the prices go down. It won't make sense. I can't even take it to that, because the builders that are building it right now, they have money that they're spending on supplies. They have money that they spent on the land. They have money that, like, they have expenses that they have to regain for all the investment that they made. So if they lower those prices, they're not going to make their profit on those condos. And most people who have land right now, they're sitting on it. And I do know a few people that are building little buildings and stuff like that in around Sosua, more by Playa Chiquita. And so I do know that there are places being built, and that's fine. But I'm talking about big, like, condominiums over by the water, over by Playa, over by Sosua Ocean Village, all in behind Sosua Ocean Village. So if you go into Sosua Ocean Village, you don't make a left-hand turn into all of their complex. You make a right-hand turn, and then you go to, what's it called? It starts with an E. I forget what it's called. But there they have a whole bunch of condos, and a lot of them are not getting built because They need to they need to sell a condo in order to build another condo. Yeah, it's robbing from Peter to give to Paul. So the rentals now, like let's look at Charamicos. There's an apartment that even just since the raids, one of the landlords that used to let go of one of the apartments for 350, she messaged me the other day and she told me it's 500. It went up 150. On my video, I have it as 350. Someone contacted me for it. She's like, no, 500. Noche never barks. ¿Todo bien? Hold on, I gotta go check that out. And I'm gonna fill my water. ¿Todo bien aquí? ¿Qué pasa aquí? Hold on, guys. I don't know what she was barking at, but she's usually very silent. So somebody must have been outside of the balcony. But see, now there's another thing that I'm very careful of. I have cameras everywhere, but right next door to me is a squatter's house. When people come in from Charles, clearly, why did you stay there? Oh, wait. I'm missing something. Oh, they have a machine there? That's great. An ATM machine? That's wonderful. That whole plaza is owned by someone. Hey, Joe D. Cleasy, Sosua Ocean Village is a beautiful place. Stayed there my first time in the Sioux. Very beautiful. Charles, clearly, why did you stay there? Justin says, what is the purpose of this channel? I talk about story time. I talk about apartments that are available. I also give people information on what's going on in the Dominican Republic because I live here for like 7 years. And today we're just chit-chatting about everything and anything because it's alive. And so I like to communicate with a lot of you guys. And Charles, Cleasy, would you stay without chicas? Cleasy doesn't go for chicas. I think he has a girlfriend here. Well, still a chica, a girl, a woman. Justin Rios, this channel is very informative for the Puerto Plata area. Thank you, Charles. Charles, yes, we hear you. Thank you. Cerise, have they thrown the people out of Sosua? Some, but the ladies are still going around. And now instead of standing on the street corners, you'll see them traveling around on motorcycles, on motor conchos, and they're busy. They're going somewhere. They're always going somewhere. So the guys are coming in and they are getting the girls to go to the villas that they're staying at or the Airbnbs that they're staying at. And they're finding a lot of the girls on Bumble and Tinder even before they come. Joe D, can you sleep on live cam today? Joe D, can you sleep on live cam today? Check my message again about classicals and hard rock. Stephen, just put it again because I went all the way up and I couldn't find it. And there's a lot of different chats. So if you can just write it again, I definitely will read it. Okay. Saint the God, show respect. Well, I'll tell you something, Joe D. I think if I slept on cam, it would probably get a whole lot of views. There's something on YouTube where they just leave their security cameras on and they record their security camera and they put it on. There's a YouTube channel and there's just people sleeping and that's it. So yeah, not really my thing. But yeah, I don't know what your purpose is of your questions. You asked me what the purpose is of my channel. What's the purpose of your questions? We are all here to learn information. And yes, okay, Stephen, I'm waiting for your question. I'm waiting for your question, Stephen. Put it back down again. Or Stefan, if your name is Stefan. Put it back down again. Is that it? Oh, real Sosua. They put an ATM machine in the chicken shack. That's an inside job. The investors really want that chicken shack. It's a whole entire plaza. But that whole corner is going to get blown out, I believe. Kenny, I'm supposed to be there next week. First time bringing my nephews, trying to see if it is worth it or head to. Oh, no, come with your nephews. They'll love it. It's a great place to be anyway. Stephen, okay, third time. I got you now, Stephen. Will the owners of Classical and Hard Rock Cafe end up paying money to the national police so they don't raid their businesses to arrest the chicas? No, I doubt it because once chicas are in private property, like in a private establishment, nobody can go in there and arrest them. And I know that they did that in the what's it called, in the casino, but that's not a common thing, and I doubt that they will be doing many more raids again like that. I believe that someone who is an investor did a stronghold to get rid of the women. They went in and they cleaned out the whole entire police task force. All of the police are cleaned out, even the colonel, and everyone's gone. And so, yeah, everyone's saying that, yes, the police can get paid off again, but they are also going to be putting in offices here and they're going to be keeping an eye on a lot. This whole town went unwatched for a very long time, but now they're going to be watching the town. And I don't think that anyone's going to have to pay off anyone in the future. I think Classicals is, he just redid his place. It's going to look amazing. It's going to be something for the tourists. Hard Rock Cafe, they will never have to pay off anyone. They are very much desired from the investors here. Very much desired. Actually, Hard Rock Cafe could have been here a year ago. They still are taking their time opening up. Hard Rock Cafe, why are they taking so long opening up? It's going to be 2 floors, I think. Why are they taking so long opening up? They're a major business. They're taking so long to open up because they're waiting for things as well. So those owners probably are privy to information that is going on in town. So that whole corner right there, where it's called Beachway Plaza going down, that whole corner right there has an empty lot that used to be like a club, I guess. It was before my time here. Beside that is the chicken shack, as you call it, real Sosua. And then going down that street are all of those little other casitas before the beach. And many of them are already starving. They're selling little trinkets and everything. And many of them are not making money at all. And many of them on the right hand side going down the street are already closed. So that a lot of that I believe is going to be a target because it's going way up to the corner. And I believe Toscana Osteria will remain, that Italian restaurant will remain there. I believe that he has a good European clientele and they'll probably just leave him there because he's connected to the art building. That whole corner may be safe for a little while, but I don't think for very long. That whole entire the casino's for sale right now. They're just waiting to sell off the casino. And that whole, if you guys know Sosua, if you look at the Sosua Beachway going down, there is a whole bunch of stores on this side and a whole bunch of stores on the other side. That's just for more condos can be built. It's like I said, it's like a run and a pantyhose. Once that starts going all the way up that coastline, nothing's going to stop it. Right now they're starting with 3 7-story condos on the beach. Those are going to sell off really nicely. But once they see how those sell off, boom, they're just going to start taking off everything else. Now, I don't think that chicken shack, as you call it, real Sosua, is going to be gone in like a year or 2. I don't believe that at all. Or 3, maybe not even 5. But eventually they will try to take all those places out. I don't have any monitors. I'm just gonna block Joe D. Jason. Hey, Jason, do you think Chicas will be back in Bailey's? I'm surprised there's no Chicas there. So hold on, I'm going to get back to that. Kenny, I have been there several times. I'm good to go, but my nephew's first time. I would say take them just to see, you know. Steven, okay, thanks. I hope it gets back to normal. Yeah, a lot of people do, Kenny. So I hope they have a good time. They'll have a good time because the streets are busy, the beach is busy, and there's always something going on. Real Sosua, what about King's Restaurant? Oh, wide open. They're doing well there. I don't know what they're doing for money, but I know that they are open. And I saw some guys out there the other day when I did my video. You guys will see the video that I put up yesterday. Guys were standing outside and it looked pretty lit to me. Didn't I just block this guy, Joe D? Yeah. Okay. Real Sosua, time to hit the strip, Cerise. My cousin's probably calling me on my other phone. Yashan Zion says, I'm coming home, Miss Fairfax. I don't need mangoes to enjoy my Taino ancestors' country. Oh, that's beautiful. Michael Anthony, yeah, I get the feeling that Sosua will soon be commercialized. Yeah, resort style type of place. Nothing of what it used to be, but unfortunately, yeah. But then again, maybe that's a good thing for the economy. Yeah. And Kenny, you're welcome. I appreciate you too. Rohawk, hey Cerise, it's been, there's something blocking you right here, Rohawk. Hey Cerise, I've been there a lot over the years. What does that word say? But it could be for the best, but we will have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, thank you so much, Rohawk. Yeah, we got to wait and see what's going to happen here in Sosua. I do believe it will be some good changes, and I do believe that we will, we'll be able to have fun no matter what. As you know, the vibe of Sosua, it'll just be Sosua on muscles. Like once they have certain places rocking again, like I mean, really rocking and rolling music coming out of all these different new places, and they don't want to get rid of the tourism like that. And when they say they want it to be family, they probably just want to take Pedro Clasante and start getting those businesses out of there, unfortunately. And some of the ones that are run down, or maybe some of the ones that are older and are just like, very small, and then maybe even build something there. But I do believe it would always, if they do build there, it would be condos with commercial stores underneath, which obviously, they're gonna make it right. I do believe that we have to wait for the first plaza to be built, and then they're going to take their time with everything else. I believe that the Dominican president will do what he feels is right now to please the investors that are coming here, because they're investing a lot of money. And I believe that the money that is coming in, he will be able to allocate that in other things as well. In Santiago, they're building that highway there. They're making brand new things all around the country with infrastructure as well. They want to redo a lot of the roads. So that money is going to go into a lot of the different places. I don't believe it's corruption. They're actually cleaning out all of the corruption with the police here. And they're going to make sure that they build a Sosua 2.0. I think that we don't have anything to worry about. And again, the girls, they're making it. They're doing their thing. I see them on the motoconchos. They're busy. The motoconchos are busier more than before, because now they actually are getting those girls to the condos. They're getting the girls to the Airbnbs, to the villas, picking them up. Taxi cabs are picking up the guys and taking them places. Everyone's on these apps. It just all of a sudden went online, but business is still being made. And with, like cab drivers and like taxi drivers and motoconchos and Airbnbs and stuff like that. But the businesses on Pedro Clasante will eventually start to go down a little bit. The best ones will still be there, because those are the ones that service the tourists a lot as well. But many of them will be, closing down. And I believe that's what the investors want. Like I said already so many times, the investors want those places to close down. It's prime real estate. It's the road that goes straight down to their investment on the beach. And that is what leads to their investments. They want that whole entire area right there, and they'll make sure that there's Playa Alicia as well. After Playa Alicia, there's that other one by Marco. There's Infinity Blue. There's also Hispaniola Soul. There's all those gated places, and those ones are all investors, and they're building. But the thing is, they were building outside of Pedro Clasante. They were building along the coastline very quietly, and you just didn't see anything happening. Now they're like, all right, We're ready to move in on Pedro Clisante, get rid of the girls, let the girls go do what the girls got to do. The girls are survivors. They are not just going to go hide somewhere. They know they got those apps. They know you guys are going to continue to come. And obviously, there will be, eventually, they'll be able to go to certain bars and certain clubs outside of Pedro Clisante. You know, they're not going to go and get arrested at different places. And you guys know when a joint opens up and it's banging and it's not on Pedro Clisante, but maybe just somewhere between Sosua and Cabarete, and you guys can go in there and have a really good time, take some girls. No one's going to bother you guys. It's not like the girls are going to be outside, you know, on the streets doing things, you know, and making tourists feel uncomfortable. A lot of tourists don't want to walk down Pedro Clisante because of the girls. You know, I did a video I put up yesterday, and you can see I'm walking and I see a girl in a dress, and she looks so beautiful. I didn't realize she was a working girl at first. And so I turned the camera because she turned. But when she turned, Noche, I had Noche, and I moved the camera and I told her, I don't have you on the camera. And Noche went up on her to say hi. Noche loves saying hi to people. And she went, ah, and she screamed. So first she was afraid of the camera and she turned. Then she looked down. Noche was right there. And then I turned the camera off at a moment because this is yesterday's video as I'm walking down Pedro Clisante. And I say to her, I don't got you. And she's like, I'm not afraid of the camera. I'm afraid of the dog. And I said, oh, okay. Well, neither one of them got you, like my camera or my dog. And then you can hear her in the background say, did you get me, like on the camera? And I said, no, I didn't. And I told her, come here, come look. And I turned my camera off so I can show her what I got of her. And she was happy with that. And then I turned the camera back on again. When I turned the camera back on again, I didn't say, oh, she was afraid of the camera. Like I had to turn the camera off. I didn't say that. I just said she was afraid of the dog, because I don't want to make it worse for the girls, you know? But yeah, she was on the streets, and she was Haitian, and she was walking in a beautiful dress. She was tall and slim, and you get a glimpse of her in the video. You don't see her face. But this is exactly the type of quality of women that need to come out when things get cleaned up. That type of woman needs to be on the streets. Not needs to be on the streets, but you know what I mean. That type of woman is what classy men usually do appreciate. A woman that looks beautiful, takes very good care of herself. It's on my video from yesterday, and you guys can see it. It's very short, very much at the beginning of the video. So if you just play the video, it's right when I get by King's. So I cross the street and I get right by King's. My legs are getting itchy here. I have all my balcony doors open. Usually mosquitoes are not around here, but I'm feeling itchy. AL Travel, what's the cheapest way to get to Cabarete and back? Public transportation? Yeah, just public transportation. You just hop on the guagua, and I think it's like, I don't know how much it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like no more than 50 pesos, maybe 30 pesos, 60 cents. You know, you just boom, get right on the bus, and they're safe and they're comfy. There's a lot of, sometimes they play some Dominican music. There's a lot of church women on the buses, working class. Really awesome. I love those buses so much, but I can't take Noche on those buses. So that's why I don't take them very often. I take a taxi, or I just take a motoconcho. Noche goes on the motoconcho with me. A taxi, you can get a private taxi there. Some people these days, since the raid, they're charging 1,000 pesos. That's $20 to get there. If you can get it probably for about anywhere from 600 to 800 pesos. 800 pesos is like $16. You can get it there for about 800 pesos. If you know a guy, and I know a few guys, I can give you guys numbers. You can message me and I can send you guys a few options. And once you get to know someone and you're using them often, and you know, use them every time you come, then that's when you do catch a good deal. And let me see. Rohawk, but there will always be Cabarete, which I love. Cabarete is beautiful too. Michael Anthony, do you think in the future, it'll be like a Las Vegas type, yeah, type of place? That's exactly what I think. Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry Shelton, Punta Cana. Yeah, I think even more than Punta Cana. I think Punta Cana won't even be able to compare to what they're going to be doing with Sosua. And Yashan Zion, you know the you know the woman the women keep the economy going, Miss Fairfax. Yes, absolutely. Those big businesses may see a downturn before their volume adjusts. Absolutely. Terry Shelton, I saw it live. Respect you for the respect you give the people. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The vision is real. Podcasts. The walls are closing in on the average working class guy looking to have good old fashioned fun all over. Even Thailand is being slowly gentrified. Fellows, this is blocked for some reason. Fellows, step up your game. Get the bag. Yeah. Start making some more money, guys. Like, not that you're not, but I'm just saying, make sure you save your money a lot more. Remember, crypto's going to be coming in, and we'll be having the same conversation about cash when the whole world starts to change. Going back to the war and everything that's going on with Russia, I do believe that they are using a lot of crypto as a way to fund a lot of their war and stuff of that nature. Crypto is a big thing. You guys got to invest in crypto. Look at different things that you can invest in, little businesses and stuff of that nature. Really start looking into investments. Even just a little bit that you put aside today will make a huge difference in the future. Especially apps, any apps. If you just get a little vibe, put a couple of $100 in an app. Nevo, you are very attractive. Thank you, Nevo. But yeah, there was a question. Thank you, Nevo. There was a question up here. I want to get back to. Do you think in the future? Yes, I do believe. That is the goal. I believe that Sosua is the North Coast is a different beach. It's a different vibe. The North Coast is beautiful, and it's a great place to be. It's located in a very safe spot as well in regards to climate, because of the northern coast and the mountain range. It's just an awesome place, and I do believe that they will try to make this into. I don't know if it would be a Vegas strip. I've never been to Miami or to Vegas, so I couldn't really compare what my vision is. But I do, and I don't see like a downtown strip necessarily with a lot of business buildings. But what I see is Pedro Clasante itself right now has a lot of mom and pop shops. And I just feel like a lot of that will be ripped right out. I feel that a lot of those shops, eventually, not right now, but I feel like there's so much real estate there that leads down to the beach. And a lot of those places, can definitely be ripped right out. There's another place called Steak and Sirloin or something, Sirloin and Steak. And that guy, he bought that whole entire property, and his name's Vicente, or Vinny, and him and his brother bought it. They're from New York. His story is quite fascinating. And they built that place up from the bottom, and he's like in his late 70s right now. God bless him. I'm not trying to wish death upon anyone, but he's in his late 70s right now. He does have children, but his children don't live here. His children still live in the States, and that would be prime land right there. It's where blue ice is, and you guys just go down a little bit, and it's right there. That is huge prime land right there. Another place where they can build, and that whole entire block right there, that whole entire block, just after you pass blue ice and go around, that whole entire street is already pretty non-existent, you know. Yes, at nighttime it's nice and it has, the hotels there and everything, but those are all pretty easy just to get rid of very slowly. So I do believe it's not only Pedro Clisante that's going to be the target. It's going to be those streets that go around and go back down to the beach. It's just going to be quite interesting in the future. But again, we're talking about maybe within the next, maybe the next decade. First they have to build those condos on the beach and see how that goes with those plazas, and see how that goes, and see how things go with the girls gone. I believe it's just a test dummy right now. This is all just a test to see what's going to happen. And if that little test with that street that goes down to the beach, and also the beach itself, works out according to plan, then eventually they'll just start to boom, 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 boom. Oh, there was that question before I let you guys go. I'm going to let you guys go soon because I do got to go out on Pedro Clisante. I do want to get you guys some footage. Let me see. Let me see. Nebo, yes, I'm single. Michael Anthony, the facts that Vision is Real podcast said. Yes. Vision is Real podcast does have that vision. The walls are the walls are closing in on the average working class guy looking to have old-fashioned fun all over. Even Thailand is slowly being gentrified. Fellas, step your game up. Get the bag. Absolutely, guys. Again, invest. A little bit of crypto, a little bit of businesses. The Vision is Real podcast. There was a guy who owned a bar on the strip 20 years ago. Lou Shark Bar. Is he still around? I've never heard of him. What's going on here, says Greg. Oh, we're just chit-chatting. Sama, where's Magic? Del Rey, 53. He died. Who is this Sama? Where's Magic? Cool. 2180. Thank you so much for the super chat. There is nothing unique and special about Sosua. DR has other places like Samana, and new businesses won't do well as they think. And the Vision is Real podcast. No. Yeah, let me see. Del Rey 3 months ago. Oh, he died 3 months ago? Oh, may he rest in peace. I don't know him, but may he rest in peace. Elsa Olsen, you've been blocked. I don't know who Elsa Olsen is, but this Sama person, or Kama, I guess Sama or Kama, who asked me about Magic. Did they delete that message? Maybe I'm not seeing it again. There it is. Where's Magic? My dog's barking again. She never barks. I gotta go check it out again. What do you see, Nudge? Turning the lights on for you. Turning the lights on for you. So my dog never barks ever, and she's barked already twice, really heavily, and she's looking at the side of my balcony, and that's where the squatter house is. And anybody can climb over the balcony if they use the squatter house. So I have cameras on my balcony. So I'm just wondering what she's barking at, but I'm not worried. Okay. U.S. Army veteran. Lou's Shark Bar is a popular spot in Sosua, Dominican Republic, known as the New York Bar. Where is this one? How come I don't know? It's an American-style bar on the beach by ex New York guys, located at 66 on the beach. Oh, I'm gonna check it out. Delray. Lou's Shark Bar is where Accents is now retired. Used to be Beach 66. Okay. Yep. Okay. Still wondering who this Sama is, or Kama, asking me where's magic. So guys, the reason why I'm so interested is because this person was on one of my other lives last week, and they were talking about my older videos, and I thought maybe they just went to go look at my older videos, and they were making comments about how much weight I gained, and which is cool because they encouraged me to start working out live every Monday. So I started working out live Monday, which I'll do this Monday as well. I took that comment as a positive encouragement, not as a negative. But now, Sama, you are asking me where's Magic, and Magic is my old dog from like Toronto over 7 years ago. So that means you know me, or you're looking at some of my videos. And that's all right. If you know me, then say hi, but don't try to be obscure, you know? Anyway, because you got me curious. Hi, Tim. How you doing? Is this the Tim that's going to have a birthday very soon? Okay, guys. It's 8 o'clock. I have to go brush up. I have to go and get dressed. Westside SC says, you are glowing tonight, Cerise. Not trying to be obscure, just straight up facts. God bless. Thank you. You're not the one that was being obscure, but thank you so much for that message. It's really sweet. Tim Bridges, Sosua will continue to be a great place to visit. Absolutely. things had to change. Freddie Rosario. Hey, Freddie, how you doing? So, yeah. Where's this Sama person now? Anyway, guys, the comment said, "Where's magic?" Looks like maybe it was deleted. I can't find it. So yeah, guys, I am gonna go on to the strip right now. I'm gonna go and sit down. And the last video that I put up yesterday, I was just walking straight down, just because I didn't want to film too much, and I don't want to film too much tonight. But what I'll do is maybe I will meet my cousin at King's if he's still around, and he's a dude, so going to King's with a dude is great, and I can just sit at King's and try to get some video footage for you guys. If not, I will try to sit at another restaurant where I can try to get a view of the street. Put it this way, if there's a lot of girls there, then I'm only going to get a snippet of it for you guys. If there's no girls there, then I don't mind doing a little bit of a video. But I also don't like to video the guys either. There was a guy that told me the other day that he wasn't supposed to be in town because he was supposed to be at work. And he wasn't supposed to be in Sosua. And his boss told him, "You're not sick, you're going to Sosua." And he's like, "No, really?" So, yeah. Tim Bridges, long time watcher of your videos. BD 626, live in Santiago from DMV. Love ya. Love you too. Thank you for watching. I got invited to a birthday party. The guy's name is Tim, so that's why I was asking. But happy belated birthday. All right, guys, I love you so much. I really do. I thank you so much for chilling with me all this time. You're pretty amazing. I'm going to try to get as much information as I can get for you. And yeah, let's see how everything goes. Again, I'm going to go to the strip right now. Well, I'll get there for like around 8:30, maybe 8:45. I'm just thinking maybe I'll just do a quick live when I get there. Just a quick live from like the restaurant, like from King's or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, because when I get to Bate, sometimes I get chit-chatting and everything. It's always a fun time in Bate, right? All right, guys, I got to go. I love you so much. Have an amazing weekend. I will see you guys on Monday for my live to air when I'm exercising, some chub off. And yeah, if I get any really good footage tonight, I will put it up tomorrow. I'll do that. I'll put it up tomorrow. And if I get there tonight and I can do a live, then I definitely will. All right, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.